in the control room. So let's see here. Okay, it claims that there is packet transmission right now. So in theory, people, some packets are traveling out of my mom's basement upstairs into the rooms of several nerdy people that like to hear what we have to say. Let's see here. So I need to go to, where is my dashboard? Content, live. Come on, I want to get, there it is. Okay, live. Where's it? Get in my dashboard. I want my dashboard. Let me into my dashboard. It's called the live control room. I keep thinking it's dashboard. There we go.
I think if you go to studio.youtube.com, you'll get there fast.
Yeah, it seems to be working. We got Lindsay in chat saying hello, everybody.
Hey, what up?
Evil Eye Gaming doing a test 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 1 0.
Hello. Oh, I'm not even in the chat. What am I doing?
Yeah, dude, get in that chat, man.
That's looking around and stuff.
That's where all the happy
look at that. That's a different background.
Yeah, I just grabbed that. I pulled that out of my butthole.
Wow. I feel like it should be animated.
It should, but people get mad when you animate it for some reason. But I'm gonna do it anyways.
Yeah, good. Yeah, engagement breeds controversy breeds engagement, right?
Yeah, we'll add a scroll filter. Okay, so I'm gonna add a little scrolls, and we're gonna speed it up just a little bit, just so it's moving ever so slightly. And there will be a seam because this isn't like a continuous one, but just a little bit, just so there's like this nice little like.
What's wrong with you? Not even in the chat. Well, I am now. Dang.
All right, can everybody hear us both? Or the levels good? We missed the show, so, and then combined with the holiday season, it's like, we gotta get back into this.
Oh, yeah, right. I think this is only like the second one for the year, I think.
It is. It's like, yikes. We're already a showdown, man. It's like, what the hell? That's all my bad, though. That was completely my bad. I was having a complete mental breakdown last week, right. And when you have your mental breakdowns, it's better to just have them offline. Yeah, or over on my Twitch. That seems to be where they're happening lately.
That's the new meta.
It is. It's like, come on over and watch a fat man cry for an hour.
Can't watch MasterChef anymore. So
yeah, is that still on? Is MasterChef still on?
No. Wait, no. Yeah. They still do like new episodes and stuff. But
that's what I was wondering. Do they still have? Is Alton Brown still the dude?
No, you're thinking like Chopped.
No. What am I thinking of? The one with like the Japanese guy who's like,
that's Iron Chef.
Iron Chef. That's what it was.
Yeah, the original Iron Chef is long since gone, and then Iron Chef America, same.
Yeah, I see. I only started watching it when Alton Brown came in. I didn't watch it back when it was like the samurai thing with like the subtitles or whatever. Like originally.
I remember the old one. Yeah, it was all of them. It's good stuff.
I love my boy Alton Brown. I should probably tweet the stream out since YouTube's not going to tell nobody. So I'm gonna do it. Let's see, copy. I go over to the old Twitters and say, TikTok #TikTok is live. Come hang out for food and prizes. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, that's fun.
Come hang out for a chance to win $3 million in NFT. NFT somethings. All right, there we go. That'll watch a bunch of people show up, dude. Will, like, I've been doing some social experiments. I like to call them social experiments. Really, it's just a fancy word for trolling. But over on Twitter, I doing shit like posted a thing saying like, if this gets 1,000 likes, I'll give $10 to a random person. And anytime I do that, it gets more retweets than anything else that I post. No matter how popular it is, no matter how many likes it gets more retweets than anything else. Just for a chance. Bots. Like, people are willing. No, it's not, though. I went through and looked at the people retweeting. It was like regulars and people that have been following me for a long time. There are some bots in there also, but I even put a disclaimer on it that's like bots will be instantly disqualified. Not that that's going to stop a bot, right. But I was going through and I was looking at this and I'm like, man, so if you have a chance, like just a snowball chance in hell of winning just $10, right? And if you have snowball, then you are willing to retweet and hassle your audience and be like, here's something of literally zero, well, not zero value, potential value of $10, but still it like spreads like a virus versus when you post something that's actually like interesting and they're just like, oh, that's cool. They'll throw it a like, but rarely retweet. Like retweets are very, very like rare for most people because they just don't like to bother their audience with stuff It's just funny, man. You just throw out anything. You put the word giveaway in it. You do anything. that stuff just runs like wildfire. So it's like, if you want to build a YouTube channel, guys, just literally give away like $1 every day. Just every day, be like, that's your budget. Be like, I'm going to give away $1, and make sure you give it away, and make sure you do it very publicly and follow the person you give the $1 to, so that it's all copacetic and people know it's on the level. But yeah, if you do that, you'll grow so fast, just because the internet just has like this, like, I don't think it's the internet. I think it's just human nature. Just human nature is like, you know, I don't have $1 right now, and if I do this, click this one button, I could potentially have $1.
Yeah, maybe I can.
So anyways, I just thought that was kind of funny. I've been like running around doing this, and it's like, it totally works. And then I've started, you've probably been watching on Twitter, I've been doing this new thing I call bot fishing or bot hunting.
Oh yeah,
that's funny. That's been going really, really well. That's actually that. Oh, excuse me. I've been having an absolute blast doing it. Although Instagram is throwing a big wrench into my thingamajiggers, so I gotta figure out how to get Instagram to knock it off. So if you report accounts for scam or fraud on Instagram, they basically just ignore it. They actually just send you an instantaneous response that says, "Oh, thank you for reporting this content, but right now we don't have the manpower to review these, so go ahead and just block the person and move on." And you're like, you don't understand. The reason I'm reporting this is not because of me. I know it's a scam. That's why I'm reporting it. It's the people that don't know it's a scam that it's a problem and why it needs to be removed. So I've been putting some pressure on Instagram now. I've also got interest from King 5 News and LA Times and a couple of mainstream media outlets that are interested in the story. So I'm going to send them some more information, get some more mainstream media involved, and see if we can't get a big story going like super publicly on these freaking bots that you're seeing. Everybody that's like, oh, go talk to my friend over on Instagram or WhatsApp. Oh, you need your account back? Oh, you lost your Cash App? Go on over here and do this. And because they're just so funny. They're everywhere, man. It's like, it's an infestation on Twitter and even in YouTube comments. So I've been trying to figure out like clever ways to really mess with these and take them down. But the problem is I was wondering, why are they all on Instagram? Like, out of all the platforms, why are they on Instagram? No, it's not because it's easy. It's because Instagram is literally like Switzerland for scammers. Instagram does not enforce their anti-scam fraud policies at all. They just have an automated mechanism that just kicks them in the garbage and says, oh, thanks for reporting this, but we're not going to do anything. So I had over 100 people report a single account that literally even said in the title that we hack Instagram accounts. Do you think that that would be in violation of TOS of Instagram to have an account where you hack Instagram accounts? So I did that. All 100 reports were instantaneously returned saying that, oh, thank you for reporting this, but right now they're not violating our guidelines, so please just unfollow and block this user. And I'm like, son of a beast. So now I know why they're hanging out there. Like, I was wondering why everybody channels to Instagram. Like, I understand channeling to another network. Like, if you're on Instagram, push people to WhatsApp. If you're on WhatsApp, push people to Twitter, because that way you're not technically violating the policy on either platform, because one, you're DMing, so it's not public, so nobody can report it. You can't report the DM. However, on, like, say Twitter, if you're just saying, hey, go talk to this guy over on Instagram, you're not violating any rules unless you're spamming that message. Then you're a bot, you're a spam bot, but you're not violating any scam or fraud rules, because you're just saying, hey, go talk to this guy over on this network. And then as soon as you're on that network, so it's basically they're breaking it up so that on neither platform are you breaking 100% of the rules. Right. And so they're basically just like blanketing out liability. But I'm like, how do you take people down that do that? Like, how do you scam the scammers? And I think I found some creative ways to do it, man. So what I want to do is I want to build a bot. I know it seems a little weird, like, oh, build a bot, fight a bot, fire on fire. Yeah, dude. So what I want to do is I want to build a bot. And what I want this bot to do is fish for these scam accounts, which is incredibly easy. And actually, I even figured out, if you want to build an account, like if you just want to do this as an experiment, guys, please tell me what your results are. Like, tag me on Twitter as you're doing this, because I think this is absolutely hilarious. All you have to do is create a new account on Twitter. And this is how you get a big following. Create a new account on Twitter, and then just like every hour or so, just tweet a message that says Cash App account hacked, need account back, Instagram help, lost my Facebook account. Like, just look at some of the titles of the phishing emails that I've sent out over the last couple of days. And you will immediately get like 20, 30, 40 bots on your ass instantly, which means now your post that you made on an account with 0 followers, and where you're following 0 people, already has like 10 followers, because the bots will follow you before replying, because they want you to DM them. So the bots will follow you and they'll message you, which will increase. Twitter will be like, oh, people are engaging with them. Then if you respond to those bots, the bots will then nag a human to come back and give a human response. So now you've got 2 responses per message. And if you don't report those accounts, they will stay followed and they won't leave. They'll just think, oh, they're still waiting for a reply from you. So they stay followed. So then you do it again in 15 minutes, do it again in 15 minutes. Before you know it, you'll have 1,000 followers a day. Like it'll all be bots, but then what'll happen is Twitter will weight you and say, wow, this person went from having 0 followers to already having like 1,000 followers. Man, they must be like a big deal. So then Twitter will start weighting it in your favor, and your messages will start being seen organically by people who start following you because of the gravity you created with the bots. So you can actually, oh, thank you, Sarah. So you can actually utilize these bot networks to build clout. So, do we get a kitty?
I'm gonna start doing that on my like PC pictures and stuff. Just put it in the hashtags like Instagram hack.
Good girl. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, the cat snuck into the nerd cave.
Aw, that's cute. I was just thinking I'll do that on with my PC builds and stuff. I'll just hashtag, Instagram hack help, code break, password. Just put the bot stuff in there.
Yeah, if you want to manufacture engagement, like if your sheer goal is just to get as much engagement on a post as quickly as possible, that's what you do. You just basically bait these bots into doing it, and you can also do it on YouTube because remember we did that experiment with Tech Talk.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yep. So one episode of Tech Talk we did last year, towards the end of last year, guys. What we did was we titled the Tech Talk. And we put in the video description at the top of Tech Talk. It was something like accounts hacked or need YouTube accounts back help. And then during like the first one was like 60 seconds of every comment on the video, like every third comment is
serious.
Contact my friend on Instagram. Oh, he can recover your account. And then what happened was so many bots responded that bots started responding to bots. So you had a comment that was like, go contact my guy on Instagram. He'll get your account back or whatever. And then another bot would reply to that bot and say, oh, my guy over here on Instagram can totally help you with that. And it was just hilarious watching these bots basically just get stuck in a recursive loop. But it ended up that live stream that we did, or that Tech Talk stream, actually ended up getting a much higher initial SEO. And also got more viewership by about 30% over the course of the same time as all the other shows. And it was because of that engagement.
Of course.
So, yeah, so you can, there's ways that you can actually use these bot networks to your advantage. And the thing is the only way I think that these networks, or I shouldn't say networks, they're not really networks. The only way that these social media platforms are going to get rid of these scam bots is if they become a big enough problem that it affects them, that it's affecting their ad revenue and stuff. And the best way to do that is to create other bots and other accounts that utilize those bot networks to basically build followings and make it highly visible what they're doing. So basically what you do is you create enough bots that take over social media and create so much additional traffic and strain on the network from forcing the other bots to engage in these infinite recursions back and forth, basically to break the network to where Twitter has to ban your bots. But by banning your bots, they also target and take out the other bots too, doing the same thing. So it's kind of like sending in like a disguised bomb, It's like so that basically you just run in and it's like you running into a bank while people are trying to rob it or whatever, and you're like, we're robbing the bank, like before people start the robbery, we're robbing the bank, give us all the money, and all the robbers are like, we're not ready yet, hey, call the cops, we're robbing the bank, hey, you grab your cell phone, call the cops, and then the cops show up and start shooting and arresting all the bank robbers, and they're like, what are you doing, you idiot? And it's like, oh, I'm not with you guys. like I'm just trying to draw attention to your cause. Like, hey, you guys have a wonderful day, as they're like carting you off to prison. But I actually think it would be fun to do that. So that's something that I'm getting into now. That's kind of getting my juices flowing a little bit. I really enjoy messing with scammers. Like, you mess with scammers and destroying them and wasting their time. That is literally like my second calling. If you guys go over to my Twitter at Barnacules, you'll see that every day I'm sending out a new phishing post, and then all my followers get on board, and then they start phishing too. And between us all phishing on a single thread, we will get thousands of bot engagements. And then what I do is I go to each bot, I go to the Instagram account, because you don't want to report the bot on Twitter, because if you report the bot on Twitter, you take out one bot, which does nothing. What you want to do is take out the hub, right? It's like you want to take the little guy and get the bigger guy. Well, when the bot messages you, it says, hey, go over to Instagram. My friend over there will get you taken care of. That Instagram account is where they DM you and have a human interact with you to rob you. So if you go to Instagram and mass report that account over there, of course, Instagram right now, I'm fighting to get them to take these reports seriously. But if you go over there and report it as something else, as like harassment or cyberbullying, then a human has to look at it. So then when the human looks at it, they can clearly see that it's a bot scam, and then they can remove the account. My problem with them is I have to basically misflag it and miscategorize it to get them to handle it, because if I mark it as fraud or scam, they don't do shit. And that's what pisses me off, dude. Like that's the part that pisses me off. Hey, Miss Liz, what's up, girl? It's good to see Miss Liz. Hey, Miss Liz, were you on the Twitch stream yesterday in chat? So I think yesterday I only saw Graham in there, but then again I was like out of it, so I was curious. Hey Eric G, thank you for the $5. We appreciate that super chat, man. He said, "Hey guys, how's it going? Hope y'all are in a good doing good this morning." I'm doing better than most days. How about you, Ox?
Pretty good. Yeah. I mean, I've started to it started to really hit me how important sleep. Like, dude, if I don't sleep well, it ruins everything. So, like last week, just more days than not, it was bad sleeping, and the whole thing just sucked. Yeah. So, yeah, man, sleep is paramount.
Yeah, that's my biggest problem that I have is because of the chronic back pain. I just don't get sleep, and I shouldn't say I don't get sleep. I just don't get quality sleep. Like, it doesn't matter if I sleep for like 12 hours. I still don't feel rested. But what I have noticed lately is if I just sleep like 5 or 6 hours instead and wake up and then just take a nap later, ooh, I seem to have much better results, because the longer I sleep, the worse my back pain gets. It's like it builds.
Oh yeah, if I don't move. Sure.
So if I sleep in a shorter increment and then I get up and I move a little bit and then I take a nap later, I tend to get a lot more restful sleep than if I just try to sleep for like 10 hours. Then my back hurts so bad that I'm just tossing and turning for like another 2-3 hours. So, hey Drogo, thank you. Appreciate it. Apparently I'm the best and I rock. Oh man, that never gets old. That never gets old. See, I like that. I'll take that.
We
did
get a super chat as well from Eric G earlier.
Wait, we did?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, you didn't hear me. I read that one already.
Oh, I must have been opening the window or something.
No, you looked like you were like staring at the screen and you thought like you were responding to like one of those Nigerian scam mails and thought you were about to become a billionaire.
Yeah.
No. Eric's cool. Eric is like longtime ride or die. He goes by E Gonzalez over on Twitch also. Huge supporter. Great dude. Oh hey, I got something cool to announce. That I forgot. So I have, and I'm not going to put him on the spot or name him or anything like that, but I have a patron who DM'd me and asked me if I would give him some pointers on interviewing at Microsoft, because he managed to land an interview at Microsoft. And he's like, "Do you have any pointers or any tips for me?" He's like, "I really want to get this job. I'm super nervous. Like, I know you worked there forever. Could you give me some?" So I did. I actually responded to him and I gave him all my tips and my tricks and told him, like, because I used to be a interviewing manager, a hiring manager at Microsoft. So I interviewed hundreds of people throughout my career. And so I told him all the little tricks and everything that I knew. And he just came back last night and messaged me and said they called him with the job offer. So he got the job. Nice. And he was so happy, dude. He's like, "Thank you so much. Oh my God, I did everything you said and I got the job. Woo!" So I actually, that made me feel really good. Last night I was like, you know what? I just took some time to like help this guy out with some pointers, because honestly, Microsoft interviews, they're not the easiest. Like Microsoft interviews, they involve multiple people. It's usually you're in a loop of 5 to 7 people. And it can be pretty intimidating, but there's like a couple little things that you can do in Microsoft interviews that like greatly improve your chances across the board of getting the job. And I'm glad that he did. So that was cool. That never gets old. Like I used to hear all the people that messaged me saying, "Hey, Codegasm like changed their life and everything like that." But to have somebody that's like, I literally applied at Microsoft and you helped me get the job, that's awesome. That feels good. Not that I can do that for like absolutely every person, but I just wanted to say that made me feel really good.
Hey, and this is maybe getting a little too in the weeds or whatever, but
hey, I like the weeds,
whatever you told that guy, you put that shit down into like a document and like join the fucking Barnacules newsletter email list or whatever, and
you can sign up for my patron.
Sign up for free and get my little e-document that will help you with your Microsoft interview tips or whatever. And then I don't know. Then they get emails about. They get emails for the tech talk. They get emails to buy your merch. Email marketing is still one of the best ways to like get people to buy your shit.
No, I know. And the thing is like I'm stuck in this weird conundrum where I'm like super anti-marketing, but at the same time, it's like marketing is the only way to get exposure, not just success, but exposure. Marketing is like responsible for exposure for everything nowadays. Yeah. So it's like I'm trying to figure out how to ride that line, and I think I've got it figured out. Like I think I am starting to figure out a middle ground that's acceptable to me. But it's just really difficult to do because it's like there's certain things that I hate. Like I've told you, like Raid Shadow Legends, I just want to like burn that place down to the ground. Raycon earbuds, I want to punch them in the face. But there's still a lot of stuff out there that's like, obviously products I use, affiliate marketing and stuff like that.
Yeah, man. Like you have an Amazon link or whatever, and yeah.
Totally. Oh, Arsene said, do you have any Microsoft tips specific to hardware engineering? I plan to apply there. Oh, so you want to be like a hardware engineer, like working in Microsoft Research?
That'd be cool.
Because I think Microsoft, at least when I was there, almost all of their hardware development was in Microsoft Research. And then it would come, once it became a viable product, then they would form a team around it and farm it out. So depending on what you want to do in hardware, like hardware engineering, that's something I don't have a lot of experience with Microsoft. To be honest, I didn't even really know, but maybe one hardware engineer the entire 15 years I was there, because they were a completely different discipline on a different part of the campus. However, we did have one guy that had we were building a USB kernel debugger interface, and actually have the prototype board still in my attic. I should pull it out and show it to you guys sometime. It's basically, think of a USB hub like USB 1.0, right? This is old stuff. Think of a USB hub that has 30 ports on one board. Just it's bare, and it's even Microsoft branded and everything, but it's created in-house. It's actually an in-house created breadboard at Microsoft that we used for the debuggers. That way we could connect 30 machines per USB port to do USB debugging. So this is back when we were transitioning away from serial debugging, because laptops were the first to have the serial ports disappear. And so we couldn't debug these laptops that were in the labs because they only had USB and they didn't have serial when they got rid of the serial connector. The desktop machines still had retained serial for a couple of years after that. But because USB was becoming so prevalent, they built USB debugging into the kernel. Then we could debug through USB, but it required you to have a USB hub that could connect to, N number of machines and then create like a serial connection. And
all right.
Yeah, so I have one of those original boards. I'll pull it out and show it to you guys sometime. I don't have the power supply for it, but I think it's just a 5-volt high amp power supply, like a wall wart. I just got to go dig one out and try it because I'd love to get it working again. I think people would love to see a video on it.
Did Microsoft really just buy Blizzard? Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I have mixed. I feel like
it could go either way.
I mean, they haven't really done anything terrible with Bethesda, right?
No, in Minecraft they did a decent job too. I mean, as much as people want to rip on it,
dude. The fucking Minecraft is as big as it's ever been.
Yeah,
like bigger, like it's huge. So, I genuinely have good feelings for Phil Spencer. I think is the guy at the head of I think it's the Xbox gaming division or something. And I keep seeing this talk about, like, back in like 2017, they said like they want to become, or at least that arm of Microsoft is really invested in becoming a proper game publisher. Like, it's independent of, they're kind of acting independent of Microsoft and the Xbox platform specifically. They want to be a publisher, like, flat out. Like, they're not going to take Call of Duty away from PlayStation. Like, it's not going to just suddenly become an Xbox exclusive, because they want to be up there with like ZeniMax. They want to be Activision and make games across the board. So they're just trying to fill out the Game Pass.
They also want PC gaming. Like, you can tell that they're building PC gaming alongside Xbox now, instead of trying to make Xbox its own thing.
No. So, it's a full entertainment platform. And the writing's been on the wall for that since Xbox 360. They've wanted to be the hub, not just in your office, but in your living room. They want to be where you go for entertainment as a hub, regardless. Yeah. I want Bobby Kotick to not have. Yeah, they're gonna kick him out. They're not keep. There's no way Microsoft would keep Bobby Kotick. A lot of that upper brass is going to get cut off. He's the CEO of Activision.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, he's super.
That's crazy. I don't know the CEO of Activision.
Super dickhead. He's been a dick for even before they bought out Blizzard. The guy's been a kind of a piece of shit.
Well, usually when Microsoft buys a company,
CEO kind of guy.
Yeah, usually when Microsoft buys a company, usually they cut the head off the snake and replace it with one of their guys. So
yeah, of course, Phil Spencer is going to be the boss, and everybody else is going to be below him. Like, they're not going to keep. No, it's going to be. Yeah. They're going to shave off all those C-level guys and put their own people in.
It is crazy the caliber of companies, though, that Microsoft's buying up. Like, you can tell that they totally they're 100% in on cornering the gaming market. Like, they want to.
Well, who's left? EA? Sony going to come in and buy EA? Like,
I don't know who makes Gran Turismo.
I think that's Take-Two.
That's Take-Two? Because
I don't know. That's my gut. I don't know.
Not Take-Two. Because I think they're a Sony exclusive, right? Because I've never seen Gran Turismo. Actually, no. I think one Gran Turismo actually dropped off platform, but the rest of them I think have all been PlayStation exclusives.
published by Sony Interactive.
So that's why. So anything that's obviously those Sony's going to always have their first party titles.
Well,
but then again, Microsoft has Turn 10 Studios and what's the other one that they have?
Horizon or whatever, right?
Yeah, for Forza Horizon and Halo.
Yeah.
And I know Halo's jumped back and forth a couple times. I know Microsoft lost control of Halo for a little while, but then they bought it back. So Microsoft still controls Halo.
Yeah, they have full thing for Halo now.
Yeah, I forget what happened there. There was some deal like Microsoft like sold Halo off to another company, or they broke off into their own company, and then later on they just bought them back.
How did they do it? It
was really weird.
They bought Bungie, and then a bunch of people left from Bungie to make like a spiritual successor to Halo, and then I think
some of the Halos are Microsoft.
With like a new Halo. Yeah.
Like Halo Reach or something. I don't know if that was Microsoft.
I think there was one in between one.
That's what I thought, and it wasn't well received, and so I think because it wasn't well received, Microsoft was just like, yoink, we'll take that back, thank you very much.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. 343 split off to make their own like spiritual successor to Halo.
But I believe Microsoft owns them again, don't they?
So no, they own Bungie. I think 343. Bungie made Destiny.
Hold on here.
Is that how it worked? I know this is good. This is a little mixed up.
I know. I'm just trying to figure it out. So does Microsoft own 343? Because I thought they didn't at once, but then they did. I thought Microsoft like went back and they're okay. So 343 Industries is a brand owned by Microsoft.
Okay.
So yeah. But I don't think it always was. I thought
I don't think so either.
Yeah. Because I know Halo was out of Microsoft's control for a while. Because I even remember when I was working at Microsoft that happened. So, but then it came back in and I don't know why they sold it. I honestly don't know the story. Like, I don't remember why they sold it off. Yeah, they own 343, but what was the intermediate company that did a Halo release? Was it Halo Reach? Okay, so 343 is owned by Microsoft Bungie, split with Microsoft
I think it's the other way around.
Oh, Microsoft bought the Halo IP from Bungie. Oh, yeah, okay,
that's how it
works.
Works.
That makes sense. So Bungie made it.
Because they couldn't buy Bungie flat out. Bungie wanted too much money. I've seen this from 2020. Or hang on.
Well, I have multiple friends that work at Bungie, and Bungie will not sell to Microsoft.
Here's Wikipedia on Bungie. So Halo and the buyout. In 1999, Bungie announced its next project, Halo Combat Evolved, which is the original Halo. Blah, blah, blah. In June 19th, 2000, 9th anniversary of Bungie's founding, Microsoft announced that it had acquired Bungie and that Bungie would become a part of Microsoft Game Division. Halo would be developed as an exclusive first-person shooter title for the Xbox.
Yep. Because it was a Microsoft and Xbox exclusive. I remember that. Like Halo was synonymous with Xbox. It still is today, really, if you think about it.
In 2007, Bungie split off from Microsoft and became a privately held limited liability company named Bungie LLC. But Microsoft would retain a minority stake, continue to partner with Bungie on publishing and marketing both Halo and future projects with the Halo IP belonging to Microsoft. Blah, 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 blah. They expanded 2010, 10-year publishing agreement with Activision. Under Bungie's agreement, Activision new IP developed by Bungie would be owned by Bungie, not Activision. Similar deal to EA partner program, Bungie Nest, Bungie Aerospace, blah, blah, blah. And then they came out with Destiny. So that's how that worked.
Okay.
And then Bungie terminated publishing deal with Activision in 2019. Bungie retains all rights to Destiny, self-published future installments. This included transitioning Destiny 2 from Activision's Battle.net. Oh, I remember all those emails I got about, hey, if you don't transfer your shit away from Battle.net, you're gonna lose your stuff. I remember that.
Yeah, and they still do. Bungie still does exclusives for Microsoft, right? Because I thought Destiny was an exclusive too, like where it launched on Xbox and then it came out later on other stuff, like
maybe.
Because I don't think it launched at PC at the same time it launched as Xbox. They still did that thing where it was like Xbox always was like first toe in the pool.
Oh shit. Major expansion of its firm February of last year, doubling its headquarters space in Bellevue. Support additional staff, not only for Destiny, but additional media related to Destiny outside of video games, as well as new IP unrelated to Destiny that Bungie expects to release in 2025.
Yeah, Bungie is based out of Bellevue. They're not far from the Microsoft main Redmond campus.
Yeah,
because my buddy, I have two friends that worked at Microsoft that transitioned to Bungie Studios. One of them was a graphics artist, and the other one was a game engine developer.
Make Myst? No. Someone else made Myst.
Was Bungie even around back when they made Myst? I think Bungie's not that old.
I don't think so.
I mean, Myst, shit, we were playing that on like
Studios.
Yeah, we were playing Myst on Max, and when I was a kid in school.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I remember playing Myst when I was like in grade school. Like that game is older than hell. That had to be what, late 80s, early 90s,
right?
Like I don't remember the well. Actually, Myst actually came out on CD, so it would have been early 90s then. It
yeah,
like 93, 94. So I was probably like 13.
Yeah, Cyan developed it, published by Broderbund back in the day.
Dude, I remember the first time I saw that game. The first time I saw that game, I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, because that was like one of the first games that had all the rendered, like everything was pre-rendered, so it just looked beautiful,
gorgeous.
Yep,
gorgeous. Oh man, yeah,
it looked so much better on Mac too. Cool. That was the thing. Is like back then, I remember everybody that had a PC or whatever wanted to get a Mac. Because Macs were like stupid expensive back then, like the color Macs. Like like the G2 or whatever. What was it?
The candy ones?
Yeah, the one that was like two pieces. It was like the screen and then the body, and it had a full color VGA screen. And I remember it had some weird resolution too. It wasn't 640 by 480. It was like slightly better than that. But I remember everybody wanted that computer because Myst looked so amazing on it. Whereas on PC, it was like, you know, a lot of dithered graphics and stuff like that. But for some reason on Mac, it just looked amazing. We had a really high powered Mac at school that everybody would play Myst on during their break and fight over, because it just did not look the same on PC. But now it's like quite the opposite. Like that's changed now, where it's like now PC just dominates the graphics space. It's like hell, consoles can't even compete.
It's because fucking Mac and Nvidia got into a fight, and Apple says no, we don't need your shit. And look at them; they completely turned their back on creatives for like 15 years. And because they got all bent out of shape with Nvidia, AMD not good enough. It's funny though that Apple didn't like just dump money into AMD to like compete.
Yeah,
but it's because they didn't care. They were focused on iPads and iPods and I stuff. They abandoned all of their desktop stuff for like 15 years.
Yeah, but what drove me nuts is they're editing workstations and stuff. Like if you wanted to buy a Mac Pro or whatever, the one that looked like a trash can. I remember the full size Mac Pro, like the full size ones. Like you could build that thing up to like $80,000 or something for a single workstation with like AMD Radeon graphics. Or
after the first cheese grater one, it went downhill.
Yeah, I mean, does anybody actually like what is the benefit? Like if you're gonna spend $80,000, and obviously we're both biased because we're PC guys, but what would be the reason to spend $40,000 to $80,000 to build a Mac workstation when you could build a PC equivalent that's way more powerful for like half or a quarter of the price?
Mostly habit or infrastructure. Like you already have a bunch of Thunderbolt stuff, Thunderbolt displays and NAS stuff and that kind of deal.
Yeah, but you already have Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt's an Intel patent, so you got Thunderbolt on PC.
Yeah, but it's pretty janky.
Oh, it? Okay.
It's not. It's gotten better. Don't get me wrong. Like current gen Thunderbolt's is pretty decent, but it doesn't play well. Like your PC Thunderbolt stuff doesn't play well with like everything that it would on an Apple product.
That is true. That's the one thing you do get with Apple products is you're basically buying into a single matrix of hardware and software. So it's like very well tested and very stable, but it's like, God, the price of entry at the high end is stupid.
Yeah. Optimized for certain workflows, video ingestion edition. Yeah. It's,
plus the screens, man. I looked at their what is it? They got that professional editing monitor or whatever. That's like $25,000 or some crap like that. And they make one that has actually higher specs for PC. That's like I want to say 5,000 or 8,000. It's like I don't get it. I don't get it. They do have beautiful screens though. I mean, they really do, but they're just overpriced like crazy.
The only thing is, what ends up happening is people will be like, "Oh, well, Final Cut Pro is so much better than Premiere." And well, yeah, first off, Final Cut Pro is built specifically for Mac hardware. And so, yes, there's a certain level of like optimization there, but I guarantee for less money, I can just brute force my Premiere to be better than Final Cut Pro all day long.
Yeah.
Because I can just buy more powerful hardware for the same amount of money that you're putting into your Mac to fuck around with Final Cut. Like,
yeah, and can't you just do the Hackintosh thing? Like,
to an extent, you still can't use NVIDIA graphics cards beyond like Sierra or something like that. They just flat out don't work.
That's crazy. So they put like a hard block in there because I'm like, it's still based on BSD. You'd think you could just go grab their graphics. Ugh,
they're super pissed. It has to be AMD, and even then, like I think it's only like certain Intel chips and blah blah blah. Like,
And now you got Intel coming along with their new foundry. That's like what,
Dude,
2 nanometer or something they're claiming.
So what? Like, okay, but it's going to be 5 years before the thing even is done being built, and then another year for it to spool up and start actually pushing chips out.
Are they really saying that's how far it is out?
Yeah, 3 to 5 years to build a brand new factory. Yeah,
that
yeah.
sucks. I didn't know.
Like that's why it was silly. That was like it was last year or something. Intel's like, yeah, we're going to dump $10 billion into building a new factory in Oregon or whatever. And it's like, well, that's great, but that's not going to help anybody today.
So TSMC is going to have like 1 nanometer as soon as they flip the switch.
TSMC come back and doubled their investment. Say, oh, we're going to build $40 billion of factories or whatever. But so what? That's 5 years from now. Like,
yeah.
We need shit today, now.
Yeah, so. It's kind of weird. A lot of people don't realize that, like, you know, almost all of the chips on the planet, like the high density, you know, anything 5 to 15 nanometer or 14 nanometer, is all made by like 6 machines in the world. Like, yeah, like there's only like a handful, like a half dozen foundries in the world that make all of the chips for everything. Like every device you have, like the chips on this thing, it's like all the transistor portions of the actual chip, the heart of the chip. It's like there's like maybe 6 machines on the planet, or I shouldn't say machines, 6 foundries on the planet that can actually like build these things. So everybody else is basically stuck at whatever production rate these things can do because they're so complicated. Like that's the thing, is like these machines are the size of entire buildings.
I remember reading it was like mid last year that TSMC, I think it was, or Samsung came out and said that their capacity is booked out until like 2023.
Oh, I believe it.
Their manufacturing is maxed out by orders and people forecasting and stuff until like 2023.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, man, it's nuts. Plus, what Intel just scooped up Apple's chip designer for ARM. Yeah, they're like Intel just sniped their like lead.
Like the dude that's responsible for M1.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah.
So we're gonna see an Intel hybrid chip, just like the M1, that's just slightly different enough to skirt around all their patents.
Here it is. Jeff Wilson, the former director of Mac system architecture at Apple. He's going to be working with Intel to make system on chips.
Man, you'd think that'd be a conflict of interest,
ARM's
right?
the new. No, of course not. Nah.
You don't think so? Sure. The chip designer from one company going and working for a competitor in the capacity of a chip designer?
They do that all the time. Apple buys out Nvidia guys, and you know, everybody flips their engineers and stuff back and forth.
It's true. Well, Microsoft has, like, I remember in our contract, we weren't allowed to go work for any other company in a similar role. Like if you're a software developer at Microsoft, you weren't allowed to be a software developer anywhere else for 3 years.
And so they probably give him a different title, so he's not like an engineer or an architect. He's a project lead or something.
He's like sous chef at down in the cafe at like Burger King.
Yeah.
No,
I'm stoked. Honestly, it'll be a good thing. It's good. I do think that we will, and it's going to be Apple's fault in a sense, but it'll all be ARM eventually.
I mean, it has to. Honestly, I even remember when I was working at Microsoft, they were talking about how, you know, x86 and x64 architectures played out. Like even back then, it's like we've still squeezed some more out of it over the last couple of years, but it's been tapped out for a long time, especially in the efficiency space.
Yeah,
like it's really its only strength is like single threaded performance using the x80 or the x64 instruction set. Mm-hmm. That's it for single thread performance. It's like for ARM, you can like for a quarter of the energy, you can run circles around it just by multi-threading. And now everything's going multi-threading. That's the thing. You still need single threaded performance for a lot of operations, but so many operations now have been multi-threaded that previously thought you couldn't multi-thread them, right? With a lot of stuff with like prediction and machine learning and stuff like that. There's ways to take things that were thought of being linear and break them up.
And software developers didn't want to bother. Like,
true. Timing issues are the worst bug to debug.
Writing multi-threaded software is hard. Okay, even just simple shit like I was doing on mobile development, kind of and that's like basic multi-threading stuff, like real simple stuff, is hard. It's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
And so until we absolutely had to, nobody wants to write software that supports it. It's only just recently have major software platforms really started taking advantage of multi-core process. Look at like multi-frame rendering in After Effects.
Yep.
That's literally like a year, not even a year old thing, but like people have been hacking it by running multiple instances of media encoder because they're single threaded. So you just spin up a bunch of different EXEs, and now it's multi-threaded, and you're basically running like a virtual render farm on your CPU. It's just because they had to now, because they've squeezed as much single threaded efficiency as they can out of their software, and now they have that. And poor Adobe has been just stacking updates and updates and updates on since 1.0. Like they haven't rewritten the core of anything since it was built.
Yeah, Adobe's been super complacent for a long time. Long time. Like honestly, like DaVinci Resolve, a free piece of software you can just go download, run circles around it performance-wise in every single category.
Dude, it's great. Especially if you drop the money for Studio and start using multiple GPUs. Get out.
No, it's like I was Adobe's doing like real-time crazy cropping and lighting and tracking stuff. Premiere was so slow. We're talking like less than a frame a second in Premiere to do some of the denoising stuff. And in like Resolve, it's like you're playing preview with denoise. Yeah, it's just it's absolutely stunning. So it blows my mind. Like the only reason Adobe is still a thing right now is because so many people have invested so much time into the workflow. Nice. That they're stuck on it. Like if DaVinci Resolve had a way of perfectly replicating that workflow, and Adobe After Effects too. That's the other thing, is After Effects is a pretty powerful piece of software that Resolve really hasn't come close to matching and capability.
No, you got to switch over to something else for that.
Hey Matthew, thank you for the subscribe. Also John Simon, thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate that. And John O'Rourke, thank you for that $2 super chat. Yeah,
thanks for subscribing.
Look at all these nice people helping us out, so we can keep doing this.
Thanks.
Let's see. What is it? Some people are going back and forth in the chat.
Oh yeah, about the Apple stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, look, don't get me wrong. Okay, Apple, like their whole ecosystem, it just works. Like it's pretty decent. Okay, we can go back and forth on hardware and blah 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 all day long, whatever. But honest to goodness, their industrial design is amazing. They make beautiful devices, and as long as you stay inside their like little playground, it's great. Everything works fine, with a few exceptions like the Apple HomePod and things like that. But like, hey, it's the truth. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't like getting into the whole Apple versus PC thing. Like if that's your jam, great. Like what does it affect me at all? I don't care. It's not for me. You know, I've rocked a MacBook Pro for a long time.
Same here, man. 2011, had it for 4 years.
And dude, I'll tell you, at least back then, 10 years ago, writing code for Apple was way better than writing code for Android. Or, God forbid, PC. Don't even get me started. Actually, C# was great. I highly recommend C#.
Yeah, no, I love C#.
C# is fucking great. Yeah, so it's cool. I'm mildly ambivalent.
Also try programming Objective-C and come back and tell me that you think that's easier than programming on Windows. I did. Objective-C.
I liked it. I liked it, dude. It made sense. It made sense. I could just. It was like, I don't know, man. It was like moving my fingers. It was so easy. And then moving to Java for Android was fucking outrageous. That's why I dropped out. I could not pass my Java 2 class. I could not. I tried 3 times. Could not pass it because it just doesn't make sense. Objective-C, I could do that in my sleep. And this was right before they transferred this to Swift.
I hated that you were programming C, and then all of a sudden you were programming this proprietary Cocoa language, like inline.
Oh, I don't know.
With the C and popping in and out of it. It reminded me of like back in the days of like Wacom C back in the 90s and stuff, where it's like you're just like doing inline assembly in the middle of your C code. Like you're just popping in and out of assembly. That's
probably why. I was super fresh. Like my only code experience had been with C#.
Yeah.
And like a little bit of Visual Basic and stuff. So
well, everything's object oriented now. It's like the only people that are doing any kind of linear development at C are doing kernel and driver development.
I gotta tell you, man, it makes sense. Object oriented programming makes sense.
Yeah, you have to remember a lot. You don't have to remember so much because the rules and everything in place.
Everything. Just what do they encapsulate, right? You encapsulate everything, and it's fucking great.
Yeah, everything's encapsulation, just, inheritance.
Dude, I still write my like file names and folder names and stuff in camel case and with like
yeah, that follows you, doesn't it?
like my it'll be like oh gosh, I can't remember the vocab anymore. Like function names. Yep. Like I still write my folders as if they're like almost like function names, and then like files underneath them are like different like variables and stuff. It's because it makes sense. It makes sense, and it's awesome.
Oh, and actually to your earlier point too, that multi-threaded programming used to be hard, and the reason that it was hard was because you had to spawn the threads manually. You had to manage the locks on them to make sure you didn't have race conditions, which is where two things need access to something at different times. But the state of it's stuck. Like let's say you start doing something and you crash and you never give the lock back. Now the door's locked, so everybody else trying to come through it or waiting, and then your program just sits there and locks. So it's this constant dance with multi-threaded to make sure that the context of the thread that needs to touch something, it's if everybody's trying to touch the same thing, you have to have a lock so that only one thing can touch it at a time. And so there's all these devices, there's mutexes, semaphores, critical sections. There's all these different methodologies that you can use depending on the scope to lock up stuff. Well, you don't have to really worry about that anymore. Because now with modern object-oriented languages and the .NET framework and everything in it, you can create stuff like thread pools. You can create objects and basically say this object, like when you define the object, you can basically attribute it and say this is going to be manipulated by a thread, and it'll automatically, anytime something in a thread is touching, that will lock it so that everything else can't get access to it. And you can do all these like clever things to optimize the hell out of it without having to understand multi-threaded programming. And so that kind of mentality is making it a lot easier for people to just make multi-threaded programs without even realizing it. The truth is, hell, you write a program in C# today and build it and run it, you're going to see more than a couple threads spawn up. Like even if your intention wasn't to make it multi-threaded, because some of the objects that you're spawning and using are internally spawning their own threads and using them. So multi-threaded programming is something that, I'm not going to say you get it for free, because you still in your design have to account for, multi-threaded if that's your goal, like if you're trying to do it. But if you're just trying to optimize something, there's a lot of stuff in the .NET framework that'll just multi-thread stuff without you even knowing it. I've created a thread pool before and just said, I want to do this job 1,000 times, and it just handles it. Like, whereas you used to have to create a loop and then create a thread object and then set the thread function and then start the thread. And then when the thread terminates, fire an event and then clean up the thread and dispose of it. And it was like this big deal. Now with a thread pool, it's just like, add this function. Oh, here, go through this loop. Okay, add all these functions to it. Add these objects to it. I want to create these objects, run their course, and then kill them and terminate. You just throw them all in the pool. Pool comes back at the end and goes, yeah, I'm all done. Everybody came back and said, yeah, we're good to go. Okay, so we can move on. It's so much easier now.
And honestly, it's because people have run into problems and created like little libraries or bits of code and stuff that you can just grab, and then it eventually becomes like something like .NET, where it's all built into the IDE. I mean, look at Unreal or Unity, right? There's like practically nothing that you can think of that you want to accomplish in one of those engines that does not have some drag and drop solution, because somebody out there's already done it.
Yep.
That's why they're wicked popular, is because they've made it so easy. And it goes for just writing code too. Look at like web development.
Yeah.
Come on.
Or Unity.
HTML5 is great. Yeah.
You go take one Unity tutorial on YouTube, and you can go and make a game. Go make a 3D game. Like, it's crazy. It's you think it's like super hard, but it's not. You can literally just go download a 3D model and be like, I want this 3D model to be 6 inches tall in my world that's of this scale. I want the world to be 10 feet tall. I want this 3D object, whatever it is. I want it to only be 6 inches tall or a foot tall. I want the floor to be solid. I want the walls to be solid. And then I want to bind the arrow keys to movement. You can even like click on it and say, this is how I want to move the schematics. Like, you can actually just animate with the mouse in there and say, this is keyframe 1, keyframe 2, keyframe 3, and actually do little animations with them, and then say every time that I'm pushing the arrow key, play the animation. And there's all these objects that you can basically drag and drop out to just attach all these things and build these things. You don't have to like go into code nearly as much as you used to have to. Like, I'd be surprised. Like, I think my RC Pro-Am clone that I wrote, it took me 3 hours, and I want to say that there was no more than 100 lines of code that I wrote. And that was just for control. Like, I wrote 100 lines of control so that when the car went forward and the acceleration of the car and having like the little smoke coming out of the tailpipe and the drifty bits, it took like 100 lines of code to program all that in. And most of that 100 lines was me just setting variables on classes dynamically. Whereas if I wanted to, I could just set them all to fixed values if I wanted the car just to go a certain speed and stuff. But I wanted some variability to it. So that was all the code I wrote was just to change these variables. But I could have just as easily gone in and just put static values and everything, hit go, and have this little car racing around a track without writing any code. I could even bind. I even remember the keyboard control. Like if I wanted to work with a joystick, I can just drag the joystick object in, and I can literally bind the movement of the object, like the object moving forward on its z-axis or whatever. I could bind that to, you know, pushing forward on the stick, and it would automatically do all the analog stuff for me. So like go a little faster, a little faster, a little faster, bind it to the trigger. I was like, it was so freaking easy that it's like it was harder to make Pong back in the day. Like you could literally make a mini little 3D or 2.5D like scroller Mario Brothers clone with less effort today than it takes to make Pong, like in straight up C, which I think is cool. Hey, hey Lewis, thank you for that $1 super chat. We appreciate that, brother. We do appreciate the support, man. 2022, we need it.
Yeah, serious business.
So
click the like button too. Tell your mom.
Yeah, tell your mom, tell your friends, tell your uncle, that weird uncle that you know
club.
that y'all avoid at Thanksgiving. Just, you know, here you can just shove them off on us, and we'll take care of them.
Let everyone know. Hey, come watch. What did I just looked up? The #1 live video podcast of Marfa, Texas.
Oh, nice, nice, man. We're killing it. Yeah, no, I gotta figure out something with the whole like marketing thing though, because like YouTube is strangling me. Twitch is doing the same thing Twitch always has. Twitch is probably like the least changing platform I've been on as far as just from my perspective what I do.
Seriously.
But YouTube has changed a lot in its algorithm, and it really does. Like if people aren't making shorts and they aren't uploading a lot of shorts, they really just start pulling SEO from them really hard and stop sending notifications out to most of their audience. Like if you got a notification for the show, chances are you have notifications enabled. Like you clicked the bell. If you didn't click the bell, chances are you didn't get a notification.
And then not just that, but you got to make sure that you hit the all, not just personalized bell, but all.
Yeah,
it should be white with the little bling on it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that they're going this route, but I mean, same thing happened to me over on TikTok. Is the worst offender of all of them, though. Out of all the networks, as much as I liked some of the content on TikTok is the most broken automated system as far as promoting videos or shadow banning videos. It's crazy. Dude, I release one video, it gets 1 million views. I release another video, it gets 100 views. Like I don't know. It's all over the place.
I do think though that they are really good at like of putting content that you are likely to watch in front of you. They are really good at it. I think I don't produce a lot of content there, so I can't say about that side, but as far as a consumer goes, they're tremendous. It did not take very long for them to build their profile for what I want to see, and it's good.
Oh, no. And I enjoy the content on there. I genuinely do. But my problem is like the reporting system is very easily abused because it's all automated.
Oh, yeah.
So I literally got banned 5 times in one day and appealed and got back 5 times in one day.
You're like, hey, I got it back. Like, sorry about that.
Yep, sorry, it's gone again. Gone again. Oh, and it's gone. And I had to keep. I was appealing like false reports like crazy. Finally, they just whitelisted me because I haven't had a single report. It just stopped dead. And with the volume they were coming in, there's no way they actually stopped with the reporting. So I think they just ended up whitelisting me because they were wasting so much time reinstating me, and so many people were doing it. They were just like, screw it, put this guy on a whitelist. Like these are all fake and they're just wasting our time. So basically, what they did is they built me a bulletproof vest. So thank you, whoever did that.
Cool. Yeah.
But the thing that I didn't like was if you use certain words, they don't. It's same thing. YouTube does the same thing. If you use certain words without you know what the words are, you instantly get shadow banned. They don't tell you you're banned. They don't tell you it's reduced messaging. They just don't notify your audience and don't tell anybody about it and act like it never happened. And that bothers the crap out of me that you can't grow or learn. It's not always bad words. That's the thing. It gets stuff wrong all the time. Like I posted a thing on TikTok. It got 50 views yesterday. When I have like everything I do on average gets between 4,000 and 5,000 views. Then some stuff breaks out and gets like 1 million or 600,000 or 800,000. But I posted this video, I deleted it twice and I just kept changing the title. The third time I posted it, then it finally started going out to notifications and people started responding to it. Before, it was like it stalled out at like 27 views and no comments, no likes or nothing. It was just dead. And those 27 views,
Instagram. Yeah. I see that on Instagram too, where like people will like in their captions for like a reel or a story or something, they'll be like, oh, I don't know, they'll be doing some meme format or whatever, and instead of like spelling out like, oh, I touched his balls, they'll put like oh, I touched his 2 little baseball emoji S.
Yeah.
Right. And it's to get around the word recognition. You know, they're like, oh, we're gonna shadow ban them because they're talking about balls.
Yep. Don't ever use the word red. Red is for some reason the English word red is highly offensive to Chinese, and so if you use the word red, like, hey, check out my new red car or something like that, boom, instant shadow ban. The only people that'll see it are people that come directly to your profile and click on it, or that receive notifications because they engage on every single thing that you do. Those are the only people that'll get the notification. It won't show up in anybody else's stuff. But if you just make a video and you just keep it like, it doesn't have to be a good one. You could literally just make a video on TikTok, just go da, 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 and then put in the title, be like, have you ever seen something so amazing? And boom, it just blows, blows up. Just blows up. Yeah, I've done a couple little experiments just shit posting over there to see what would happen. And it does. Like, and so I even tried reposting because I was wondering if it was the title. So a month ago, I took my old video that got 24 million views or whatever, the one where I did RTX voice. So the RTX voice clip got like 24 million views on TikTok. So I took the same video because it was months ago, right? So I reposted the same video on TikTok, but I just changed the title to the cut and paste title of the other post that stalled out that got no attention. And it also got no attention. So the fact that I posted something that got 24 million views that everybody couldn't get enough of, and then I put the same title on it, it just showed me that they're like, oh, we don't, the automated system has determined that this title isn't appropriate. We're not going to tell them. We're just going to publish it and make it look like it's okay, but we're only going to allow people to go to their profile and click on it to see it.
Yeah.
And so it's really difficult moving forward for content creators to not clickbait and not like lie about their content, because they have to. Even on YouTube, you have to. Like the gun channels. Look at all the gun channels, right? They're having to put like in the title or whatever, like today reviewing, blah, 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 pew, pew. And then in the video, like every time they say gun, even though they're shooting guns, it's obvious they're shooting guns. Like every time they say gun or whatever, they'll bleep it or they'll put like a little like, noise over the top of it, like shh.
Right.
And then they get monetized. But if they say anything about it, or what was the other one? It's like they Demolition Ranch, I guess, kept getting demonetized because he was using incendiary rounds. Wow. Which he has the license for. He's perfectly legal and capable of doing that. And he's always monetized his content, so he's not allowed to use them anymore. So now anytime he does a video with incendiary rounds, he goes, and I'm definitely shooting a not incendiary round. This is not incendiary, YouTube. If you're looking at this, and then he shoots it and it blows up and it's clearly incendiary. And he's like, yeah, no, that just happened because the material I was shooting had like some stuff sprinkled on it. And so that wasn't the bullet, wink. And that's how he's able to monetize his videos, because he has to like work around it and lie about it. So, but that means if you're a person that's actually looking for that video content, you search for it, you're not going to find it.
Right.
Because they can't use the keywords for you to line up on it. And so what does everybody do? It's not that they stop making the bad content. They just, or I shouldn't say bad. They stop making Go ahead.
You just find better ways of marketing it, right? Because think about how like television advertising has evolved, right? Like at first you could say anything you want. You could do anything you want for advertisement. You could say that my laundry detergent will cure cancer or whatever. Like, and then they come in. Okay, you can't be making false claims. You can't be making these wild, they start putting rules and stuff. And it's the same kind of thing with like YouTube or like the adpocalypse stuff, right? Like you find a new way of dancing around the restrictions or putting, how do they get away with prescription drug advertising? Like, do your legs tingle at night? Like, you probably have this fucking weird thing that we just made up.
May cause explosive diarrhea and rectal expansion.
Or like, what's blowing my mind is like I can't remember the drug now because I hardly ever see it in commercials anymore. But
Lunesta helps you sleep, may cause suicidal
it was
thoughts.
Like, I remember there was some drug that was like originally for like eczema or something, right? Like some skin disease thing. And then now I see a commercial, same drug, same name being put out for like restless leg syndrome. I'm totally making these things up. I can't remember, but like the core of this story is true, where it was a drug prescribed for one thing and advertised for one thing. And I guess it was like too successful or something at what it's supposed to do originally, that now they're like or not even rebranding, but just remarketing it for something else. Like, oh, we just noticed that it cures chronic dry eye or something as well. And
like
it's just
off-label use or whatever. Yeah,
super weird stuff, man. I cannot believe we allow prescription drug advertisement. Hey, thanks Sotan Mush for £10.
That's £10, brother.
That's British sterling. Damn.
He said, I just enjoyed a nice
That's
risotto.
Like 15 US bucks, man. Thank you.
Their money is worth more than ours. Said, I had enjoyed a nice risotto with a couple glasses of the Chardonnay or Chardonnay.
Chardonnay.
He said, so I'm feeling, he said he's feeling mellow. He said, hi to all from the UK. I hope you're all well, peace. You know, we're surviving, man. Survival is nice. It's like every day you wake up, that you got another breath and you got another chance to watch some YouTube and troll some, scam bots on the internet is a good day, man. It is.
More worried how often this is happening on other platforms that we have not caught yet because they just have not been investigating it. Oh, about like shadow banning and stuff?
Yeah, the shadow censoring and shadow banning and stuff. It's pretty bad.
We've had this same argument but this same talk comes up all the time. Like,
it's because people are concerned.
If I make a soapbox for that you can stand on for free, then I get to tell you how you can use my soapbox.
Yeah, but I'm allowed to bitch about it. That's the thing. Like, I totally recognize they're right. Like, I'm not saying that legally they can't do that. I'm just saying that doesn't go against
the rules of using my soapbox.
No,
you can go ahead and talk shit about my soapbox all you like, as long as you're standing on my soapbox to do it. Happens. Look at Twitter. Happens all the time. Give me a fucking edit button in Twitter. Blah 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 blah. There's all this bullshit that they talk about. They tag Jack, or heck, I don't even think he's the top dog at freaking Twitter.
He's not. He left, dude.
But like,
he's like, I'm out.
I'm out,
son.
Good.
Yeah.
Like, all I care is that you're standing on my soapbox, and I'm going to slap a bunch of advertising stickers on my soapbox, to make sure everybody who's looking at you that's standing on my soapbox, sees the stickers I put on it.
So I'll play devil's advocate here because I like to do that. I think it's a good experiment to do, is to go against your own thoughts, just to see if there's something you haven't explored.
Sure, no, I do the same.
Yeah, and so looking at this from the devil's advocate perspective, it's like, okay, let's say I don't agree with what they're doing. Like, I don't like the fact that they're censoring me or they're mainly it's not that I'm telling them that they shouldn't be able to do that, because they should be able to do that. But for me, it's more just complaining about them getting it wrong, them intending to do it a certain way, but it not working out in that way and actually doing damage that they're unaware of or even unwilling to look at. But playing devil's advocate, I will say this: if I had to go create my own platform, if I had to go create my own social media platform, and I had to go create my own live streaming platform, and I had to go create my own video publishing platform, and I had to create those, and I had to pay the money to advertise them and put them out there and get an audience and get a viewer base to get anywhere close to the views I get, even as a shadow banned individual, I'd go broke. I'd be bankrupt, and I wouldn't be able to penetrate that space at all, considering the other juggernauts that are in charge. So realistically, if you look at it, it's like, even if they like completely shut me down and the only people that can ever watch my content are people that I literally walk to the door and open it for them, I'm still in a better position using their service than creating my own. Just given the expenses and stuff like that. Yeah. So as much as I do like to complain about it and draw attention to it, because that can lead to change, I do fully and will always support that they are private companies, and if they don't get to employ the rules that they want on their platform to create their vision and further their vision, then when I want to create a business or I want to do something, that's going to come around to bite me.
Yeah.
So
that is true, and there's something also to be said about, like, well, how okay, so yes. Right, I'm free to go make my own social media platform, whatever, videos. It could be the next YouTube, Twitter, whatever. I'm free to do so.
Yeah, do it, man. I'd sign up.
But how do I compete? You've already. It's like, oh, I'm going to make my own, competitor to Amazon. Yeah, right. It's too late.
Yeah,
you're done. Yeah. You're done for. Everybody goes to Amazon. Everybody goes to Walmart. Everybody goes to Starbucks.
There's a reason why everybody's always being sued for being a monopoly, and it's because you don't even have to try to be a monopoly and you still become a monopoly, because once you are so big and your infrastructure is already established and your cost of operation per customer is super low just because of the volume of customers you have, there's no way some little guy is just going to come in and compete with that. That's why you haven't seen a replacement for YouTube or Facebook or Twitter in years and years and years. And it's like, it's slowing down. It's not speeding up. It used to be every day there was a new thing. Now there's so many large juggernauts that have absorbed so many of the small companies that they've grown so large that nobody even wants to try to compete, because it's just it's throwing your money away and just burning it. Yeah. So you have to carve out a niche. Yeah, go ahead, bud. You have to carve out a niche. And the problem is, these big companies, they have such big legal teams. Even if you do create that niche, they're just going to steal it from you and just pay the fines. So it's the same thing. If you've gone to like Instagram lately, Instagram looks exactly like TikTok now. Exactly. The UI to the T. If you click on the stories or the reels, even the icon placement and everything. Like, I always forget that I'm on Instagram. Like, I'll be like, I think I'm on TikTok, and then I go push the post. Yeah.
It's because you're seeing a bunch of reposted TikTok content.
No. Where the icons
think
are.
You're still on TikTok.
No, true. But no, that's you've seen where the button layout is though, right? So if you open up a story or a reel, the button placement, the way the buttons look and everything, they duplicated TikTok to a T. It's flawless replication of it. And there's a reason for that. And now YouTube's doing the same thing. I opened up a YouTube mobile app now. When you go to Shorts and you start scrolling through Shorts, they look exactly like Instagram and exactly like TikTok. It's because it's a winning formula. And even if those companies try to sue each other for copying each other's designs and copying each other's like things that made them unique, it's a failed effort. It's mutually assured destruction because these companies all have so many legal resources and they'll just retaliate.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same reason why Elon Musk has like the Tesla and nobody can really compete with him. There's all these other electric cars coming out, but nobody can quite hit the specs that he does. Because if anybody actually becomes a legit threat to him, he can basically go sue the ever-living crap out of him for using all of his patented IP that he let him use. He can renege on that at any point. So, which I'm actually like, you notice, have you seen the Lucid Air like scandal thing that's going around? So Lucid Air is basically one of the Tesla engineers left Tesla and went and created his own electric car company and created this Lucid Air car that has unique motors, unique battery pack.
Looks like a Tesla.
Yeah, it does. Actually, I think it's uglier personally.
It looks like Chevy made a Tesla.
Exactly.
Which is not a bad thing. Like it's super smooth looking. These pictures look great. Look it up, by the way, if you're in the chat. Check this out. Lucid Air car. It is a good looking car. Yeah, but you can totally tell that they're Robin design from Tesla.
Yeah, put it next to a Tesla Model 3 and it looks ginormous. It's huge. But here's the thing. They have one called like the Dream Edition that's this 1100 horsepower car. So it has more power. It has like about 100 more horsepower than like a Plaid or something like that. And they took it out and drove it and like did the quarter mile and everything. It's like a 10-second quarter mile and like 0 to 60 in over 3 seconds. It's nowhere even in the ballpark of a Plaid speed, even though the car is like, oh, we have more power than a Plaid, but it's in the delivery. Yeah.
Toast?
Yeah,
oh, weird. Sorry, I thought okay, total tangent, totally off topic, but fucking AuxxZillary pushed an update yesterday or something, and it is borked as hell. Like, I was muted, but my buttons didn't tell me I was muted, but if I wasn't monitoring myself, I would have never known.
Oh, sorry weird. About
that. So just a second ago, like I thought I used my cuss beeper to cough, and it like was a full mute for some reason, so that was being weird for a second.
Henry McCants, thank you for the $5 super chat. He said, love the show. Check out Super Saf's tweet on his TikTok creators earning check.
Yeah, man.
Mr. Beast Austin Evans added on. I didn't see this. What
this dude, I guess, so I'd happened to check this out just because he mentioned it.
It says 112 pounds.
$112, yeah, 112 pounds.
25 million views.
Yeah. That's insane.
No, TikTok, dude, is bad.
Garbage.
So I got approved for monetization. Here, I'll just show you guys here. Like, watch this. So I did a live stream, a 4-hour live stream on TikTok. Now, just to give you some context.
Oh, you were live on TikTok?
I was live on TikTok. Yeah, I did a live on TikTok for like 3 hours. Just first time ever. Like, just trying it out, right? Because first of all, you don't get any money for just making video. Video content you don't monetize it. So if you just post a video on TikTok, you get nothing for it unless somebody wants to like give you a tip or something on the side. You don't get anything for it. But when you're live, people can give you gifts and they can give you coins basically. And it's kind of like the Twitch thing, but it's like it's not a 1-to-1 ratio. It's not like 1 coin is 1 cent. It's like multiple coins is 1 cent. It's the transition isn't as good. But yeah, I went in. Let me open up my creator tools here. Analytics. So just to give you an idea of like how much money I've made on TikTok doing this live thing. Let's see, why isn't it showing me my money? Where is it? Let's see, analytics.
And then Mr. Beast replied to that Super Saf guy with just shy of 15K, but dude's got over a billion views. Easy. The average TikTok is 16 seconds plus TikTok ads only appear once like every 10-15 videos. Huh.
So I did a live and I got after 3 hours I made $16. And that was
from like tips and stuff.
From tips, just from tips. That's like because that's like the system, right? People are giving gifts, and each gift equates out to a certain number of coins, and then the coins have a transition value into whatever currency you're in. Well, the transition rate is so small, and the percentage they keep is so high that when I was done, I want to say that I got it was like 4,000 or 5,000 coins, like during my live stream, and I was like, oh man, 5,000 coins. Like if that was on Twitch, that'd be $50. like 5,000 coins, right? Like bits, like 5,000 bits would be, $50. So I go look at it brings up my earnings report after I do the stream, and it's like, you made $16. So then I went and looked at like how much it is to buy coins. That $16 of coins cost like somebody $35. So it's like the percentage that they give to creators is tiny.
Oh, poor little Yoshi, sad that my lady left.
Oh no, are those the sad howls of I'm abandoned forever? Oh, poor guy. Yeah, no, so TikTok is out of all the platforms, it is easily the one that rips off its creators the most. Because on YouTube, it's like the lowest CPM I've ever seen is like $1.50 per 1,000 views. But at least it's if you're monetized or partnered. Because keep in mind, on TikTok, you don't get anything either if you're not partnered. So that's like you already became partnered. You got approved for monetization. You're doing a live stream. And the transition rate is like your audience has to give you like $100 for you to buy $100 of stuff for you to keep like $30 of it, ideally. Hey, what's up, little man?
Poor little Yoshi.
What's up, little Yoshi? What's going on?
He's so cute.
Is he still running around humping everything, or is he over that?
Oh, only because Chloe's not like in heat or whatever.
Oh, she's not baiting him anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, we were just saying while you're gone, it's like TikTok, out of all the platforms, as far as like, people that become monetized on the platform, because you do have to like get to a certain point where they'll let you monetize. Yeah. Once you join the monetization system, though, it's like they pay their creators less than any other platform by like a massive factor. And it's not just this guy. It's like even live streaming. It's like I've seen people live streaming where people are just dumping on them like 300, 500 coins, 500 tokens. It's like slot machine, right? Just going crazy. Yeah. And you go do the math, and it's like the audience spent like $100 and he got like 30 of it.
Jeez.
So the transition, the exchange rate's stupid.
I saw somewhere that I think it's like, I think Facebook has like the best cut right now.
Wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me with old SoFlo Antonio out there like posting everybody else's content and stealing all the money from it.
Best payout live streaming.
It pisses me off how many millionaires are out there that just steal other people's content and never made any of their own content, and they're literally millionaires. Driving around in Lamborghinis and shit. It's like, what do you do for a living? Oh, I just go find other people's content that's famous and aggregate it. I'm an aggregator. They try to make it sound like they're like, oh, this is under fair use because I'm aggregating the content. So because I take 10 viral videos and I put it into one video, that's fair use.
Yeah, right.
And it's like, no, that's not how it works, dipshit. But unfortunately, it's like nobody will legally, because it makes so much money on these platforms because people are lazy and want to get all their content in one location. They would rather go to the guy stealing the content so that they can watch everything on one page than going to each individual person's page. So they just make grips and grips of money, and it just keeps feeding into the cycle, and everybody becomes a content thief.
Where was it? There was like a breakdown of the big ones. Oops, hang on, I'll turn myself up a little. There we go. There was somebody had posted like a breakdown of like, Twitch's payout is like 50-50 at first, and you can get up to like 70-30, but then like Facebook was like, something was like 40%, and then YouTube is like something trash, and I can't. It was on Twitter.
Yeah, Twitch is negotiable too. They tell you right off the bat it's not negotiable, but once you get to a certain size, that's negotiable.
Yeah.
Because they were like, we're only going to give you 50-50. And I was like, the hell you are. And I talked them up. I can't tell you the exact rate because that's actually in my contract. I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah, you're not allowed to talk about it.
But I got a way better deal than most. So
generally, the bigger the partners can do up to 70-30 is what I've seen.
Hey, can you hold things down for a minute?
I'll be right back. One of the platforms like starts out at that point. It's like they only take the 30 or whatever. There was a post on Twitter. I saw it where somebody broke it down, and it made me seriously consider switching to YouTube because it seemed to be like long term the better platform. Last. But then there's all. So I meant to interject this into the conversation earlier about like niche. Like you gotta the riches are in the niches, right? There are more platforms being spun up, especially when it comes to live streaming, that they're smaller. You may not be it's not Twitch, but Twitch is garbage for discoverability, right? So if you go to something like, I don't know, Face.live or something, I don't know these other ones. There was one I was looking at that seemed pretty interesting, and I've made accounts across different platforms. and it's interesting, you know. Let's see, Stream Biz. There's so many. There's a bunch of live streaming platforms now, and it's pretty interesting. So, honestly, it's got to be. I'm just gonna hide that. Don't know what that is. What's up, Amanagoni? Just a clear clause in the TOS for every audience member that use that system. I'm not for about shadow banning and blah blah blah. Yeah. There should be not. And when it comes to, I hate to use the word censorship, but when it comes to censorship on private platforms like Twitter and Instagram and blah 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 blah, what I think most people get upset about is that they are unequal in their application of the rules. Twitch is infamous for it. Did you make an account on OnlyFans? No. I do have a Patreon, though I don't do anything with it. Yeah.
Up.
What it?
That coffee wanted to escape, brother.
Oh, it does that. Yeah. I wish, honestly, man. So, like, I wish YouTube would break out their live section.
I wish they would too.
Better. Like, it's one thing that it feeds to. It's one thing, like, I kind of dig that it feeds into like your normal YouTube like feed or whatever. How do you deal with all the cat hair? Sucks. It's always in your food. I don't have cats. That's how I deal with cat hair. And even when I had cats, like, it never was a problem. Vacuuming the couch, like, and you know, that kind of thing. That's all.
I have cats, just don't get long hair.
They're using copyright to censor everything. Yeah, there's that too, right? DMCA is out of whack.
You know what I disagree with so bad with DMCA? It's like, I understand if you know, even if by accident you use some content, it's like, I understand content claim, but it should be content claimed for the period that you're using their music, not the entire video.
Oh, for the section. Twitch, in the past, Twitch has been pretty good about, in my experience, like when I was driving, doing my drive streams regularly to work and stuff, I would play classical music because mostly that's you know, copyright free.
Yeah.
But every once in a while I would notice sections of my VODs would get muted, and I was like, man, that's really strange. Like, this is fucking 500-year-old music. What's going on? Well, it comes to find out, I dug into it, and it comes to find out that certain performances are copyrighted.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the Philadelphia Philharmonic playing at Madison Square Garden or whatever on 2002 for Bob Hope's birthday or something. That's their thing.
Yeah.
And so I would get muted for that, but I never got any like heavy dings or anything for it. They would just mute that section, and it would pop up and say, hey, this VOD got, in certain sections of this VOD will be muted because of blah 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 blah. Yeah. See, yeah, Hover. That's a cool one. That's for like clips and stuff. Yeah. That's a cool up and coming. We were talking about you had mentioned niche.
Oh, I've never
niches,
heard of
right?
That. It's called Hover.
Yeah. There are a handful of interesting live streaming platforms they're very, very small, but very niche, right? It's kind of interesting to see that there are these sort of mild competitors coming up, and I think that's where it's going to go. You're going to have these monsters.
Is it Hover GG?
Yes.
Yeah, because there's a hover.com that's like a domain register. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's GG.
Hover GG. Yeah, I've never even heard of this. It's the first I've heard of it.
It's pretty neat. Actually, the boss or the founder of it, for some random ass reason, follows me on Twitter. That's kind of cool, and I follow him back. He followed me, and I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy with a fucking check mark following me?" And I was like, "Oh shit, he's like the CEO or whatever of this thing." Where is it? It's Anthony something. I was like, man, that's cool. Who's this freaking guy?
Are you on there? Are you on Hover?
I made an account. I haven't uploaded anything.
Do you have a referral code? Because I'm signing up and it says use a referral code.
Is it this guy?
So do you get something if I use your referral code?
Let's find out.
Give me your referral code and I'll put it in there.
Okay, let's see.
I'm gonna live sign up for Hover.
I'll say it out loud for everybody.
Do it. Everybody can do it. More than one person can use your referral. Just dump it in chat. I'll grab it.
Settings.
It's probably in there somewhere.
I saw it when I signed up. Oh, here we go. S
Okay.
8.
Hold on. S8.
R.
R.
G.
G.
H.
H.
P.
P.
Yeah.
That's it?
That's it.
So S8RGHP?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, create account. Let's see what happens. Okay, it says,
like they said, they that person summed it up perfectly. It's a TikTok for Twitch clips, and not I don't think it's specifically,
but that's what people
Twitch,
are using it for.
But that's their like you can integrate whatever platform you're on into it, and again, very small, and but some people have been finding some good success as far as discoverability.
All right. Well, here, let's see. Is he gonna let me in?
Okay, so it's not that guy. Wait, was it that guy though? Hold on. Who's this dude? Does he follow me too?
Wow, this thing has some jank ass UI.
It's not. I mean, it's actually it's not too bad. Some of the buttons and stuff could be resized, I suppose, but overall, it's pretty decent.
It was just the configuration. The configuration was a little weird. Here, let me go put it here on my profile.
And like they just recently like partnered with somebody, like their first content creator.
Go follow me, everybody. I just spam chat. Go follow me. I need to build my hover audience because like I needed another social network. Yeah, right? Oh my god, dude! Like a hole in my head.
But see, I like this sort of thing because it's like okay, now that I have this, and you're right, like oh fuck, another platform to post to, right? Well, this means that there are tools out there that will that are built for spreading this stuff around. Like HubSpot has a thing where I can make posts and it'll go out on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and everywhere. I guarantee there are tools for this too, where like, oh, I made this one clip. I can export it I'll just download it from Twitch and I can put it into this tool. And now it'll go out to my Instagram reels. It'll go out to my TikTok. It'll go out to, my YouTube shorts. It'll all like in one
IFTT
tool
or whatever.
Yeah, something in that sense. Yeah, but specifically for this sort of thing, and it'll get integrated.
Dude, their web UI is the worst though. Like I'm clicking on it and say I click on profile, it doesn't go anywhere. It just sits there and it doesn't even spin, no updates, nothing. Just all I can do is click on home and like see the things that are posted in my feed, but I can't. There's nothing to upload an avatar picture. Like I'm sure the app on the phone is probably where they put most of their effort because let's be honest, it's like says download hover for iOS and Android, so they want you to do it. But yeah, their website is like anus laptops here. But hey, do I got any followers yet? Let's see. Hold on.
Who's the man? There was some cool dude who followed me, and I think it's the boss of this hover thing.
I have no followers. I'm sad.
Wow, you guys, so mean.
Gosh, I put my link in chat, and like nobody even wants to follow me over there. That's how. Does anybody here actually have a hover other than Aux and I?
Ha.
Oh yeah, okay. Miss Barnacules was actually answering something. Yeah, that's why I don't do screen share like right now. Is because I only have one screen connected, so I don't have a dedicated screen like I normally do. Like normally I'll bring up a VM and have a dedicated screen that I can link into OBS. But with one screen, it's really difficult to do that and not have like stuff from dashboard and stuff show up on screen. So yeah, another thing that I need to fix. Man, 2022. Come on, like get in gear. It's gonna happen, man. I can feel it.
I don't want to spend too much time digging in here, but I think it is the boss of hover.
Well, this is the first I've heard of it, so like I guess word of mouth is kind
of
very
fresh. It's only been around like maybe 2 years tops or something.
Oh, 2 years! Like they should be more. I should know about it after 2 years.
I only just come across it because one of the streamers that I do follow. Up and comer Bry, something like that. He talked about it a little bit.
You know what doesn't give me a lot of confidence is I'm like scrolling through their top creators right now, and their top creators have like a couple thousand likes. Like,
oh yeah, I mean, like it's still real small.
It's definitely really small.
Yeah. I bet they don't even have like 100,000 accounts. Like,
yeah,
seriously.
Well, I'll keep an eye on it. It's good to have an account. That's one thing that I like is because if I don't create an account, then somebody else will just go create an account, and then I basically have to like send an email with my claim and my trademark, and then they go ahead and delete their account, and then I got to go in and create my account, and then people are like start following me and be like, oh hey, your account changed. It's like because I'm the real person, not the person that's been impersonating me the whole time.
Official Barnacules 1.
Exactly.
The real official Barnacules 1. Here it is. 1. Oh. My bad. Different platform. The guy I was thinking of is Anthony DeMoro. He's the CEO of Gematica.
The hell's that?
Gematica is similar. It's like a place to do your thing. They are trying to build a platform, more of like a fully rounded out sort of like content creation / esports support.
What was that? What was that one streaming network? You're the one that told me about it, like the gaming network, where it's like a cross between like OnlyFans and gaming or something, or like Twitch for like nude people or whatever playing games while they're naked or whatever.
Oh, that's right. There is an NSFW.
Yeah, what was that platform?
Streaming platform. I don't remember, but I remember looking at that.
Yeah, I like went to it. It's like the front page is like literally just a bunch of naked people like sitting there playing video games and getting tips and doing stuff. Like I was like, this is like a fusion.
It is not like it is not like OnlyFans. It's like dudes like you and me.
Yeah,
I mean there's ladies too, but man, it's not what you think. I'll tell you.
No,
I recall.
And there was only like 3 pages of people on like the whole platform. There wasn't like they had thousands of people on it.
No, I remember like their top streamer had like 400 watchers or something at that time.
Yeah. Oh, I think it was it Plexstorm? That does sound familiar. Hold on. Living dangerously here.
Yeah, right.
Let's see here.
This is why we don't do screen shares, you guys.
Exactly. Oh, Plexstorm is down again, but will it be out for good? Oh, did somebody hack it or something? Well, they got a Twitter. Let me go look at their Twitter. Okay, so game streaming for adults. Yeah, this is it. Plexstorm.com, and they're down. Yeah, their website's gone. They might have finally folded.
Gooshi, Goohshi, Goochi.
Dude, nobody's gonna remember that. Like, pick a name for your business that like people can like type in.
Plexstorm. Yeah, it's down.
It's like gone. Like the last tweet on their platform's like July 5th or something. Yeah. They're gone. Well, I can happily say that I got to see it at least once before it went out of business, and it was like I can honestly say it was a unique experience. Like I hadn't seen anything like that on any other platform. It's like
I wonder why.
Just like 300-pound dude with his wang hanging out, playing some Destiny with like his bros, and people are like sending him tips and stuff, you know. And he's just sitting there playing, and I mean, it was gaming focused. Like everybody on there was like playing video games. I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. I mean, yeah, I'm kind of surprised that didn't like succeed. Like. That seems like it's the best of both worlds, because you have like people like Amarath, where it's like they use Twitch as the means to advertise their OnlyFans. Like it's so it's like, but you had it all on one site. Like if that site had been successful, it's like now you can do the gaming and the stuff, and also, well, I guess you still need to go to Twitch though to attract the younger people you're not supposed to be attracting, but you do anyways because that's where most of the money is. Yeah. That's by the way, that's the only problem I have with that. Like I am 100% like pro sexuality, run what you brung, create your OnlyFans. I got lots of friends that do OnlyFans that are in the business and stuff. The only problem that I have are like the people that go to Twitch that are obviously using it as a vehicle to pull younger people, a younger audience to their adult sites. Yeah. And that I don't like. That's like, come on, seriously? Like that you're literally on Twitch because you already have access to an adult audience. Like you're the only reason you're on Twitch is to get access to that younger audience. And it's like, not bueno. I don't like that. So not saying they're all doing it, but I'm just saying there are people that are, and that have even admitted to it, you know? And it's like, I watched the documentary on Amaranth and I was like, it was a little bit of an eye opener. It's like, she is a very interesting individual. You know, but it's like, if you actually go dig into it, it's like, yeah, the Twitch thing is basically a front for selling the adult content because she makes $1 million a month on OnlyFans, but she only makes $1 million a month on OnlyFans because 90% of her audience comes over from Twitch. Like, but she's not allowed to mention her OnlyFans on Twitch, but she does the way she conducts her Twitch channel in such a way that it's implied. Right. So she's figured out how to do the marketing. It's so weird, man.
I haven't watched Twitch in a long time. I have not like
tuned into somebody and just hung out
just in a long time. Yeah, it's nuts.
I don't do it for long periods of time, but I do like to poke my head in on like Trinity and you know, I like to watch when David Hewlett stream and I'll poke my head in, or when his kiddo stream and Bratlet stream and I jump in there. there's a lot of people I'd poking like Chris Perillo or Loyal Moses if they're doing 3D printing stuff all pop my head in, usually after a raid. But yeah, I can't remember the last time I just sat down and like popped open a Twitch stream and just sat there for like 2 hours, like, chatting and hanging out.
Usually I'd have like somebody like Lethal Frag up on for background while I'm gaming, not doing anything, just personal stuff. And I think what really hit me in the teeth about it was even though I had there was something I was doing that I wasn't getting ads. Like I think I attached my Amazon Prime to my Twitch account, and like you were not supposed to get ads or something generally, and then they changed that to where you had to turbo. You either had to sub to a channel flat out with your like one free token a month, or you had to buy turbo to get it across the whole platform. You do your $8 a month for Twitch Turbo or whatever it was. And I think that's what really, as soon as I started getting interrupted with, and again, holy crap, why can't I get ads that make sense for me? Right. I don't want to see the same fucking Hot Pockets commercial 5 times in a row.
I swear it's because Twitch can only get one company that'll allow them to run that many ads. Like all the little ads, like only let them run 100.
Man, I get the same shit on Hulu. Like, look, I don't mind. I'll take a 90-second ad break. Totally fine. It's a little weird when it comes to live content because then like I'm missing out, which honestly it should buffer or something.
It's got to be entertaining too. It's like,
it should DVR during the commercial, like, because
you know who the worst offender is? Plex.
YouTube.
No, Plex, dude. Oh my God. I was watching Plex streaming the other day. Like Plex has 2 services. Like Plex does local streaming, like everybody knows, but Plex also has an online streaming service now, like TV channels, live TV and stuff. And oh my God, I was watching Plex the other day, and I have my PF Sense box set up to block most ads, but every once in a while some get through because it depends on what server is serving them. So I start watching it. It's like ads 1 of 6. No shit. It said 1 of 6. Wow. Usually it's 1 of 2 or 1 of 3.
Like in one break?
In one break. And so it starts playing the ad, and it's like, today, now, Chevy Silverado HD. Buy Chevy Silverado HD today on sale, blah, blah, blah. And then it pauses for like 3 seconds, black screen. Chevy Silverado. Buy Chevy Silverado HD. All 6 commercials. 6 times in a row. The same exact Chevy Silverado or whatever car it was. Advertisement. And I was sitting there and I was like, how hard would it be? How hard would it be to program your shit just to say, do not play the same ad within this period of time? It'd be the simplest code in the world. You know why they don't do it? Because the advertisers don't know any better, and they're getting paid by the advertiser to show the commercial 6 times to one person. It's like the dude that says "by Carl's Jr." in Idiocracy. Brought to you by Carl's Jr. Brought to you by Carl's Jr. Why do you say that? Oh, I get paid every time I say "brought to you by Carl's Jr."
Yeah,
it's so stupid.
And I've played enough with like Facebook ads to understand how a little bit it probably works across like all of these platforms. You give them the ad. Here's the video I want you to play. You say, I want to target these kinds of people.
Yeah.
I have this much money. And so, and it depends. It depends. Like I'll either pay you every time somebody clicks on the ad or whatever, or I'll pay you every time somebody watches more than 10 seconds of it or whatever the fuck. And I think that's how it happens is like, oh, well, we didn't have enough people give us ads for this kind of person for this amount of time. So we've only got the one ad to play.
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to is literally they only have one advertiser at any given time that basically says you can run unlimited instances.
Yeah.
Like the rest of them are like, I only want to run 200 or I only want to invest $2,000 or whatever. But then there's some companies that are just juggernauts that are like, hey, serve as many ads as you want. But they don't really, they probably don't realize, the advertiser themselves probably doesn't realize that the same ads being shown like back to back to the same people over and over again, because like that's diminishing returns. Like if you saw the ad the first time and you didn't click on it, you're not going to click on it the second time in the same viewing session. You're not going to decide like in an hour after watching the streamers like, oh man, I just saw that commercial 15 minutes ago. You know what? I'm going to click on it this time. So it's literally just these people wasting their money. And so not, it's like, if you have to disrupt my viewers, if you have to disrupt my viewers so that I can have a paycheck, at least disrupt them with something that's new.
Yeah.
So, even if it's meme worthy and it's just something for them to make fun of, something new. But yeah, when they run the back-to-back commercials, it drives me fucking nuts, man. Oh, dude, just that's a big pet peeve. But yeah, Plex was the worst I've ever seen. 6 in a row, same advertisement, back to back with like a 2-second delay in between. And I was just like, shoot me. I was like, this, and there's no skip. There's no skip on that platform. So you have to watch the whole ad each and every time. So I was just like, oh, screw this, man. This is freaking terrible. But yeah, hey, tech tip. If you enable PF Blocker NG on PFSense, and you go in, you can actually add one of the blocking lists or whatever is for Plex. So if you go in there and you add the Plex blocking list, or I think it's called like streaming ads blocking list. What it'll do is when you're in Plex, it'll just say add 1 of 3, and then it'll be like 5 seconds. Then it says add 2 of 3, 5 seconds, add 3 of 3, and it's just a loading bar. It'll never load. Blank. Yeah, and then after 15 seconds, you're back to the video.
Actually, I think that's what happens to me on Twitch now too. Like it'll go black, and the timer counts down, telling me like an ad is playing, but I don't see.
You don't see it.
Ad. Yeah.
But on Plex, they just try to load the ad for like 5 seconds, then give up. Whereas on Twitch, they're like, oh, if you're going to block the ad, we're still going to make you wait for the timeout as if the ad was there. So, it's not to encourage people to disable it because it's not like they're getting any time or getting back to the stream any sooner.
Right.
But it just, I don't know. It seems like everything's in a constant state of evolution, and all the creators and stuff are having to like bend and adapt to the new ways that these platforms, because the thing is there's so many creators now. There wasn't nearly this many creators even 2 to 5 years ago. COVID made creators like, I mean, it's the most common job in the world now.
Sure.
Everybody's sharing their lives.
Yes. I dig it. I think, man, I've had this rant a bunch of times, and I think I get super pumped when I get turned on to this direction. It's like I'm super cool that anyone can like do the thing that they love the most and actually like make money doing it.
Yeah,
I think it's super fucking cool.
Imagine if when you were a kid, if somebody told you that this was possible, you wouldn't believe it.
I knew it was possible the first fucking time I heard this kid named Fatality won $1 million in a Unreal Tournament 2004 tournament. I knew then that esports was going to be the biggest thing in the fucking planet. I knew then that playing games and getting paid for it was going to be a real thing, and I wanted it so bad. But I couldn't. At that time it was all very professional players, right? Like you could
back then you had to be scouted, right?
Games.
Just like with TV, you had to be scouted, and somebody had to be like, "I want you," and you had to be brought on and onboarded onto their platform to show you to the world. Whereas that's all changed with YouTube. The YouTube generation is like, if you decide you're watching right now, you want to be a content creator, you want to put yourself out to the world, all the tools are there for you. Like you don't need a promoter. I mean, as you grow your career, you might want that stuff. But I'm just saying that to start, if you just decide one day you want to be a famous person sharing your life on the internet, it's like, just do it.
That's it. And not just your life, but whatever your like interests are, like your hobbies and stuff, whatever it is that you think about. Take a moment and think about the things that you like rant about, not necessarily in a negative way, but the things that you get caught up like what's the word? Rambling on, right? The things that you get, get stoked to talk about. You can make money doing it if you really want. And it's super easy. There isn't some old guy who's going to be like, oh no, your show idea sucks. Or no, your book is trash. We're not going to publish it. You just put that shit out there.
Yeah, most people just get discouraged because they talk themselves out of it. Like there's so many good ideas that people just talk themselves out of it because of self-confidence issues. And I understand that. I have self-confidence issues now. Like I totally get it.
It is very much a mindset thing. Like I love seeing people who are like, oh, I stream just to do it, like just for fun. Like I don't care. I'm gonna be playing these games anyway. It's really fun sometimes when people come into the chat and like say, hey, wow, this is cool. Like I'm not trying to make a job out of it. It's just fun. It's like having my friends next to me on the couch kind of thing. And I love that. And I love the all the way to the people who are like, dude, I grind it out, bro. I come home, I take a shower, I eat, and within 30 minutes of walking in through that door, I'm live and we're playing games till fucking midnight or whatever. I'm grinding my shit out. I'm doing fucking YouTube thumbnails. I'm putting my stuff on YouTube. I'm putting it on TikTok. I'm putting it on Instagram. I love the whole spread of it because I feel like it gives people the opportunity for community. So you're not alone in your weird thing that you like. Everybody's a fucking nerd, okay, about something.
True.
And I don't care. I don't care what it is. It's whether it's sports or cars or guns or political science,
dude,
or stickers or Smurfs or whatever the fuck.
Exactly. Yep.
Everybody's a nerd, and you can find your people out there. Look at Tumblr. Okay, if you wanted any evidence of like weird fucking communities who love themselves and love each other,
Tumblr though. Full stop.
Tumblr. Doesn't matter what kind of weirdo you were. Tumblr had a space for you.
It's not as cool anymore though.
Because they got rid of the porn.
Yeah. That was like literally Tumblr. It was
Thanks,
like the
Yahoo,
secret that like everybody knew, but nobody talked about, right? Nobody talked about it, but Tumblr was literally like the porn site on the internet.
Not just porn though, but also just like a safe space for like sex positivity.
Yeah, anything. It was like it was freaking the shit that I saw on there like blew my mind. Like
super cool. I love it. Yeah, it also creates spaces for like hate and harassment and shit and whatnot. But to
one
me,
comes with the other always.
Something I learned way back in the day of like MMO stuff is like for every butthead that there are really 1,000 good people. They're just not as loud.
Yeah,
they're just not as loud. And if we all could take a little bit more effort of making the positivity louder. If you like something, comment. Don't just hit the like button, but say, man, that was cool.
Yeah, interact. I love here. That's my favorite thing is to hear good positive comments.
All the time. Engage, not just with the low level double tap on an Instagram picture, but like even just a comment like, hey, good job. Wow. Just wow.
Yeah.
Makes somebody feel so good.
The other thing is don't get like if you want to get started and you have this is the most asked question I guess. I should probably just make a YouTube video on this and just be done with it.
Man, I know we're not going to get to any of our topics today, but we really ought to plan one of these to be completely
to just talk about the whole becoming a content creator and all the
heck
stuff.
Man, even we could do like a breakdown kind of thing, like, hey, send us all your social media stuff, let's poke at it.
Yeah,
because I feel I get jazzed.
Dude, some of my favorite channels are stuff that you would never think would become famous. Like honestly, two of my favorite channels that I watch, The Fish Whisperer, I've talked about him before. Just if you want to just sit back and watch just a happy dude feed his turtles and feed his sea bass and just have, it's the most zen video ever. Like every time I watch an episode, it never gets boring either. It's basically the same video every single day. It's just, I'm gonna go catch some shad and feed some shad. It's a fish to my turtles, and it's just him interacting with his pond. But it's just the most wholesome content ever. And he's actually, unfortunately, he's a victim of the whole shadow ban thing on YouTube because he was getting like 15 million views a video, and now he's down to like 100,000 or 50,000 because and the same thing happened to a guy that I watched, Backyard Rescue. This guy that like he's really funny dude, and he harbors animals in his backyard like kangaroos and like exotic birds and stuff, but he saves them. He's a sanctuary for saving them.
Oh, neat.
And he got hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views, and his viewership fell off really severely around the same time Fish Whisperer. So I think that whole genre of video kind of got nerfed by YouTube for some reason because it was so successful and it was rising to the top. I think they felt that it was choking out some of the other content they wanted to focus more on, but still hugely successful channels that have made insane amounts of money just doing like the most silly shit that you can tell that they never started out thinking they were going to make money. Like it was just a hobby. Yeah. Another favorite channel I watch is just a dude that tells stories. Like, that guy, like, the guy that sits around the campfire when you go camping and wants to tell you like scary stories and stuff like that. There's a guy on YouTube. He literally, all he does is just sit against a backdrop. There's no like, it's very minimal editing, very minimal jump cuts. And he's like, today, he's just a really good storyteller. He's like, today I'm going to tell you the story about how this person got stuck in a well, 12 years ago. And for 30 minutes, he'll have you sitting on the edge of your seat, literally just talking and building a visual image and the hype of this story. And it might be scripted. I can't tell if he's reading a teleprompter or not, but his delivery is so good that you're like hanging on. It's like, it's way better than like reading a book or watching a movie. That's all I can say. I wish I remembered the name of this guy's channel because the channel names never pop up on my app on my TV when I'm watching them. But every time I see this dude pop up on my feed, it's some crazy story. It's like, I'm going to tell you a story about these guys that disappeared while cave diving, 12 years ago or whatever, and never returned until just yesterday. and he's just a great storyteller, and he just keeps you on the edge of your seat. And once you start hearing the story, you have to hear the whole thing. Like the way he tells the story, it's in such a way that you're always sitting on a cliffhanger for like 30 minutes. And then 30 minutes just goes by and you're like, what the hell happened? You're sitting on the toilet, your ass is numb, you can't feel your legs. And it's because you were just hanging on to this dude's every word. So that's something you wouldn't really think would translate to YouTube. You're like, it's just a guy sitting there reading. Like he could tell you the story without any visuals. Like, why do you even need to see this guy? You could just listen and get a similar experience. Yet he still found this insane amount of success on YouTube doing this.
Yeah.
So
I just love it.
Yeah, Dave Plummer's another good one. I love that guy. Dave Plummer's another fellow Microsoft employee that retired and decided to take a stab at YouTube, being a tech tuber, and his entire channel pretty much revolves around his career at Microsoft and the things that he's done and post Microsoft. And sometimes he even talks about other companies and stuff like that. But he's on the autism spectrum. And really cool dude. Highly recommended. Dave Plummer, freaking our careers only overlapped by 1 year, so we didn't know each other in real life. Like, we were on email threads together and stuff, but we never actually met when I worked at Microsoft. But boy, when I found out about his YouTube channel and started watching it, and then he reached out to me a bunch of times, and we've been going back and forth in email every now and again. Really cool dude. Highly recommend checking out his channel. If you're obviously, if you're watching me right now, you're probably a nerd that's into Microsoft and computers and, you know, all that stuff, and he's definitely into all that.
Yeah.
He also is a great developer. Like, he's a master developer. He puts a lot of his source code up for free that he was going to sell, by the way. Like, his whole goal was to create a YouTube channel and use that as a marketing division to sell his technology that he's created. And now he's just giving the technology away for free because the channel has been so successful that he's like, screw it, I'm just going to open source it and shit and put it on GitHub and enjoy making the content. So it just goes to show, I mean, don't talk yourself out of it. Like, try it. And are you guaranteed to be successful immediately? No. You're not, but it's like, don't focus on the numbers. If you focus on the numbers, you'll be all over the place. Don't do
process. That's why I say focus on the things that you would like. This is something that comes up often enough in these sorts of spaces, like online. And heck, man, one of my favorite things even is like Jobs and Gates were sitting on a fucking stage. They said the same message back in like 99 or something, where it's like, if you don't love the process, you're going to burn out. You're going to fail, because eventually you're just going to look at this and be like, fuck, I have to do this. And you can practice a mindset of, I get to do this, even if it's something that you're not really like jazzed about, but it's hard. But when it's already something like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna play video games anyway. I say this for myself is, man, I never had a more enjoyable work experience than when I was building PCs on live on Twitch for Puget Systems. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. I said, this is what I want to do. And so I'm now in a mode of building a framework where that's what I get to do. You know, I get to, I make a business, and what the business does is, you know, fix computers or build fancy pants stuff for esports people or whatever the fuck. But what I get to do is build PCs on stream, because that's what I want. I want that so bad. And you're good at it, and you know you're good at it because you've already had a dress rehearsal. And that's what really motivates me is, man, I know I can do this. I was doing it twice a week for 6 hours.
No excuse for failure, dude.
Over 100 views. And my like average watch time was nearly the entire stream. People would tune in and not leave. Like, people were there for hours watching me build these PCs. And like,
still to this day, man, largest live stream I ever did was with you on it. To this day, still 6,000 live viewers, dude, on Twitch.
Still, like, and that can be applied to anything. And it doesn't have to be with an end goal of like, oh, I'm going to make money. Like, what else are you doing? Like, are you watching Netflix for 3 hours after work? Come on. You know, I
do watch a lot of YouTube these days, but that's because I'm laid up in bed and I get frustrated.
It's you know, it depends, and it all depends on your goal. Like, that's you know, you got to think about. I don't know, we can go on and on.
Oh, Data Doctors, hit him up over on Twitter. He wants to know how to rent your space.
DM me on Twitter is the best way, or email me. It's my screen name at gmail.com.
Yep, hit him up, bro. That's his spot. He needs to sell that.
But man, and actually, so Data Doctors Vista was like, hey, check out my stuff and like roast me, not roast, but poke at it and you know, talk to him about it. First, my very first recommendation, sir, a cohesive branding, colors. I noticed like your profile picture here and on Facebook is black and white, but your website is white and red. That's weird. You should have all of the same stuff everywhere.
I'm the worst at consistent branding. Do not use it as an example. I've done everything wrong. Everything from my name and its spelling and everything is actually 100% against. Like, I should have never succeeded. Like, to me, realistically,
and that's, I mean, and honestly, actually, I think just from the very little bit of marketing experience that I have from my professional life, would say the same. Like you have the same logo, I notice, right? But it's black and white here and on Facebook, but on your website it's red. Like it's still the same text, it's still the same logo, but just different color scheme, right? Just pick a theme, right? Also, no posts on Facebook. You have nothing on Facebook.
Wait, he said you have a corporate company. I have no control. I thought it's your company though.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you can. Hey, man, I became the social media manager by being the squeaky wheel. Okay, I was telling them. But if you have any sort of access to their social media stuff, you can, start making change. Like I noticed too on the Twitter, the last post was July 3rd, 2020. Some blog post about excellent tech training website. Good. That's good stuff, right? A lot of the same stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
We're gonna do it, man. We'll schedule it. Maybe, who knows? Maybe next week. Maybe
that'd be fun.
Yeah, no, I'd love to even get like Dave. I'd love to do it on a stream where we have David on too, just because I think he's a great comparison and contrast to like the professional in the public eye, right? Like the old media versus new media and his transition there and everything. I mean, there's a lot to be given out there, because I think that it's great to encourage other people to get involved in this, because one of the things that I used to always say is that competition breeds excellence. And that's one of my favorite sayings. And it's true, because you become complacent. You know, Microsoft did that so many times, like with Windows Mobile 6. They would have been on the Windows Mobile 10 and just been killing Apple if they had have kept moving the product, but there was no competition. There was nothing competing as a business device, so they just stopped at Windows Mobile 6 and maintained it. They're like, oh, nobody else is ever going to build a smartphone that's $600. And now Apple's selling, devices that are $1,500 to $2,000, and they just lost the market. Windows Phone was too little too late, but they held the market for a long time, and they just got comfortable and complacent. It's good to have competition because it gets you up. Like, as a matter of fact, like he knows this. I worked with a guy named Andy Rank. He was literally my shadow at Microsoft. Like, me and him were two peas in a pod fighting each other for superiority on the team, fighting for the same promotions. But we often worked on the same projects because we yielded a better result because we'd both push each other so hard. We'd end up overshooting all the goals, just because we wanted to shine, right? You wanted to be the one to shine. And because of that, I always considered him and credited him, even though we butt heads on a lot of stuff at work and everything, I always credited him with getting the best work out of me, because I'd wake up every morning and be like, how do I steamroll this motherfucker? Like, oh my God, I wake up, I look at an email. It's like, oh, he rewrote like half the code in one of my modules and made it 50% faster. Fuck this guy. I'm going to go rewrite one of his. So it's like, it was one of those things that having that competition, always having somebody breathing down your neck, you turn around, it's like you're racing and you look to your side and you see, the front end of a car coming up on you. It gives you this adrenaline rush and it makes you want to push. So I think it's good to have competition. I think it's good to have it in the space. I think that you can benefit from competition because it can make you better. And even if it's to the point where the competition is so good that it's like you feel like you can't be better than that competition can still make you rise more than you were before. So absolutely. And on that note, let's do topics.
Yeah, right. For the last hour.
We just have to just jump into the shit. Yeah. We made you guys wait till we were waiting for everybody to get in here because for some reason everybody's sleeping today. We only have 278 viewers, about half of what we normally have. So, again, I don't know, YouTube might have changed the algorithm again and like half our audience isn't being notified, but
it's because
whatever.
We skipped a week. Because we skipped a week, man.
We skipped a week and we said fuck. We said fuck too many times, dude. We said fuck, and it just now it won't notify anybody because we're just big old potty mouths. So yeah, let's start off with the big one. So the big one that's in the title is the doctors transplant genetically modified pig's heart into a human.
Yeah, buddy.
So just for some clarification, pig parts have been used in humans for a long time. Like, as a matter of fact, they've used valves from pigs, they've used tissue from pigs to patch arteries and stuff like that.
Like stuff,
Yeah, pigs are the closest thing to, which is funny. It's like, have you ever heard like a human referred to as long pork?
Yeah, long pig. Or when you're talking about the meat of a human being.
Yeah, long pig. It's because we're most genetically like from a blood perspective and an organ perspective, we're very close to pigs. And which is funny because look at me. Anyways, so on that note, a pig heart is this is like the holy grail. They've been trying to figure out how to get a pig heart in a human for a long time. They've been able to use pieces, but they've never been able to use the whole heart. And now it looks like they've actually well, we don't know how successful it is yet, right? I mean, it's only a couple days after surgery or a month after surgery.
Yeah, like the transplants thing, they're monitoring the guy in the coming weeks to ensure long-term benefits of the procedure. Medical milestone undoubtedly lays in the groundwork. This is wild. This is a big thing. So the biggest part with transplanting the heart is like the pig heart is capable to pump the right volume. It's similar enough in its operation that it's more than enough than the human body needs. We've always known that, but it just gets rejected. And the amount of anti-rejection medicine that you would have to take to have this heart in you is just not realistic. Like you would literally just die from like bacteria on your, on your countertop. So obviously, the anti-rejection medicine only goes so far. And even with anti-rejection medicine, the heart's not going to last that long. So now pig hearts, they're readily available. And if they can genetically modify them, then you don't have to wait on a list forever. So you don't have to like wait for a match, which is what you have to do today. If you need a heart, you get put on a list and you better hope that somebody with a healthy heart drops dead somewhere and has your heart type and you're high enough on the list that you get access to it. And that's rare. Only a very small percentage of people that need hearts actually get it before they die. So if they can just genetically modify these pig hearts and pop them into humans, getting a heart transplant goes from being this like huge major thing that's a 1 in a million chance to just being like, I don't want to say routine. Heart surgery is still pretty brutal and a hard recovery, but way more normal. Like it's not going to be this crazy thing where it's like you're on a list and like, because they'll put these people on. Have you seen the artificial hearts? Oh, sure. Sure. That's cool too.
Yeah, they put
like
people
mechanical, fucking like rubber. Yeah.
Dude, they're loud too. They're like, like, go look up mechanical heart on YouTube. It's crazy. So what they do is, if you're on the heart transplant list, obviously they can't keep you in the hospital for 6 months or a year on a heart and lung bypass machine or whatever, right? That's not
unless
economical.
You're stanky rich.
Yeah, unless you're Mr. Burns, you're not going to be doing that. So what they do is they put an artificial heart in you, which is a mechanical like carbon fiber, some inert. It's like probably titanium.
It's a neat, man.
It's pretty damn cool, and it's basically a motor-driven heart, and cables physically come out of your body and go into a battery pack and control unit. And you literally have a fanny pack that's driving your heart and circulating the blood in your body. And if you listen to it, it's really loud. You can actually hear it. If you're standing next to somebody, you'll know if they have an artificial heart because it's like, it sounds like a 3D printer, basically. And so they can put these in people and keep them alive for, months or even years. But again, you have to charge the battery, make sure it's charged. When you travel, you have to make sure you have access to reliable electricity, have a gas powered generator on hand or whatever in case the power goes out and you need to charge. There's so many considerations because you're married to this battery pack that's running this heart. And but it'll keep you alive, potentially long enough for you to wait longer for a donor. And the longer you can keep people alive, the longer you can afford to wait for a donor to come along. Well, with the pig heart, that solves all these problems, because with the big heart, it's just a matter of however long it takes for them to genetically modify the heart so that it'll be accepted by your body without being rejected. And then they just bolt that shit in and you're good to go. If this works, again, this is they haven't done any long-term study on this yet. This is the first guy, so they're gonna see how well because he could still next month he could reject the heart.
He could just die. Yeah,
it could just die on him, and they got to go back in and put an artificial heart in him.
I'm trying to. I'd like to find more because they say it's genetically modified.
It is
pig heart.
Yeah,
and so I'm curious to know more about what that side of it, because they did the standard stuff of like, okay, here's a bunch of drugs, immunosuppressant drugs and stuff, so we can try and avoid the rejection side of it and blah blah blah. But I'm curious to know more about the genetically modified side of it.
Let's see here. Okay, so without such modifications, no human-to-human organ heart transplant carries the risk triggering severe and sometimes fatal immune response.
Hey, thanks, Nigel.
Let's see here if I can find some information. So the first pig heart transplant patient was denied a human heart after failing to follow doctor's orders. Oh, interesting. So that's why they're using him as the guinea pig.
So Revivicor, a regenerative medicine company based in Blacksburg, Virginia, provided the genetically modified pig to the xenotransplantation laboratory at the University of Maryland School of Medicine. On the blah blah blah, removed the pig's heart, placed it into the blah blah blah.
So it was genetically modified as an embryo.
The pig itself that they got it from. Okay, so
it's not like they took the heart and modified it outside of the pig. It's like the pig was literally grown from birth with a CRISPR genetically modified embryo. Let's
Okay.
see.
Okay, here we go. So once as improbable as an idea of seeing pigs fly, the xenotransplantation of organs from animals to humans is becoming increasingly viable. According to University of Maryland Medicine, Bennett, end stage, blah, blah, blah. Hey, some
This is
distant
crazy.
uncle of mine, I'm sure. It's working, looks normal. Bennett's blah.
So I've got the bullet points if you want them.
Okay, yeah.
So David Bennett underwent the procedure that reportedly took at least 7 hours at the University of Maryland Medical Center in Baltimore on Friday. Mm-hmm. It said it's not known how Bennett will fare long term because this is a one of a kind, first time tried.
Yeah, never done this before.
But he's doing well 3 days after surgery, so he hasn't had an immediate they'll know if they put it in there and he has anaphylaxis or whatever, they're gonna know. So 3 days is the fact that it's actually functioning. That's a good thing. It said Bennett had been connected to a heart bypass lung machine prior to the surgery and remains on it today. Okay, so he's not fully on the pig heart yet. Said according to New York Times, but he's past the 48-hour mark considered critical to determine whether the organ will be rejected. Okay, so basically he's on the bypass machine and the heart is basically just in his body wired up.
It says that as soon as they once connected to, this is from another side of things. It says once connected to Bennett's blood supply, quote, the heart fired right up.
That's awesome. It said it's just dry. It's just like dry running.
Here we go.
It's not pumping blood yet. The
donor pig was genetically modified by United Therapeutics subsidiary Revivicor. Okay. The Virginia-based company reportedly made 10 alterations. 4 of the pig's genes were inactivated, and 6 human genes were inserted into its genome. 9 of the edits were made to reduce the chances that Bennett's body would reject the new heart post-transplant, while the last was made to stop excessive growth of the pig tissue once implanted. Huh.
That is so wild, man, that they identified the genes to do all that. That's impressive.
And then there's wild. Another, he says the chances of non-rejection are further helped by an experimental drug co-developed by Mohammed Mohideen. It also MD, says, director of the University of Maryland School of Medicine, cardiac xenotransplantation program, who helps conduct a pre-transplant. The drug made by blah, blah, is designed to suppress the human immune system, preventing the body from immediately fighting back against the foreign implant. Neat.
So it looks like what happened, the whole reason this happened, this wasn't even planned. They wanted to do it, but they pushed it up. This wasn't supposed to happen right now. The reason it happened is because he didn't qualify for an artificial heart pump due to life-threatening arrhythmia that he has. So he couldn't even use the artificial heart pump. So it had to be an actual heart transplant, and he doesn't get it because he violated his doctor's orders. So he got taken off of the list, probably because he smoked or drank or something. But it said the Food and Drug Administration gave emergency authorization on New Year's Eve through its compassionate use provision for surgeries to take a medical gamble, meaning that he was going to die. There was no chance of him getting a heart. He wasn't allowed to have a heart. He was 100% going to die. So they were just like, fuck it, let him roll the dice. And I 100% agree with that. I think if all your options are exhausted and you're going to die anyways, you should be able to fucking do whatever you want at that point to try to survive, even if it's less than a billionth of a percent.
Pay the bill.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, go for it, right? Yeah. And even if it didn't work and he died, think of the medical advancements and the things that we would learn from it. It's so it's at least he's going to die anyways. You might as well learn something from it.
Because it says previously, in September, so I'm not sure when exactly this was written, but it says in September, a surgical team at NYU took a kidney from another of Revivicor's genetically modified pigs, this time with only one genetic edit, and successfully attached it to a human patient's blood vessels. This patient was already brain dead, and the kidney was kept outside the body for observation. But it was the surgeon said the procedure was the first in which the animal donor organ wasn't immediately rejected by and didn't cause a major immune response in the body of its human recipient. So the kidney bit worked really well. And so they're like, well, shit, Revivicor's like, oh shit, man, we'll just keep making these edited pigs and man, we'll start working that shit out.
Yeah, because I think pigs grow really fast. So if they could put you on an artificial heart or your heart was failing and you had 6 months, I'm sure that they could raise a pig to a slaughter weight, to extract and use the heart. Yeah, quick enough anyways, right?
Hell of a
lot earlier than growing a human adult and, cutting them up and buying their organs on the black market.
I also like there've been a lot of advancements in 3D printing of tissue. They've done like a significant chunk of a heart and it works. Like you zap it and it starts pumping away. It's trying.
Yeah, no, they did it with a kidney and a portion of a liver too. I saw that they did that. And basically all they do is they take and 3D print the basic shape of the organ, and they deposit stem cells, like, or what do they call them? Yeah, stem cells. They're basically just, and you can make a stem cell now. You don't need fetal
encourage them to. Well, no, I mean, you can scrape your skin off, and they can make reprogram your skin to stem cells.
Yeah. So the whole thing that you need fetal stem cells or whatever, there still is an application for it, but it's like you can make a stem cell, and then what you do is you introduce the cells from the original organ. So if you have like a bad heart, they can take the cells from the healthy cells from the heart, introduce it into a lattice of food, basically, so those cells can thrive, and then you put in the stem cells or the blank cells, and then they will take on the genetics of the cells that you introduced. So you basically are just like growing a heart, and the thing that you 3D printed is the food. So as the cells are dividing and growing into the basic shape of the heart, it's following the lattice. It's basically following the food. It's really weird because you wouldn't think it would work. Like, it's the sci-fi shit. You're like, there's no way that would work, but it does. Yeah, it absolutely does. They did an ear too. Did you see the ear?
Oh, that was years ago. They grew that on a mouse back in like 97.
Oh no, this is the 3D printed one.
Oh, okay.
So this isn't the one where they grew an ear. Like I saw the one where they grew an ear on a mouse, where they grafted like an ear to the mouse or whatever, and it grew. But no, they actually can 3D print an ear. Like a 3D print an ear that's the shape. Like they take a picture of your ear on this side, they mirror it, they 3D print it on the other side, and then they cover it, they 3D print it with that biological crap, and then they just introduce cartilage and skin cells. Hey, man, and it basically creates a freaking duplicate of your ear that has blood vessels and everything that can tie in, and it's the weirdest, crazy shit ever. Like, the future is going to be cool.
Yeah, like, it's super neat.
And the pig thing, I think the pig thing is great, because here's the thing. Well, actually, this gets weird. This gets a little weird. Hold on. I just thought of a weird edge case for this. So obviously you don't want the rest of the pig to go to waste, right? But if you're eating a pig that has modified cells that have human genes in it for the purpose of a transplanted heart, now are you technically kind of a cannibal, because you're still eating a pig, but you're eating a pig that has human DNA?
Depends on how fuzzy you want to get with it. Like, if you're just coming from the angle of like, oh, mad cow disease, then probably not, because that's got to be like, because I want to use the meat,
why not? Because if you have a bad heart or whatever, it's like you go get Charlotte and pop her in the head and steal her heart and give me the bacon. It's like I go home with like a box with all the trimmings and shit in it.
That's my pig, right? So
I
might
paid
as well
for it. Give me the bacon.
No, I dig it though. I'm like, because this so like the CRISPR thing, right? They're like, oh man, are we headed toward like a future like Gattaca where we're designer babies and stuff?
Well, dude already got popped for it in China. You saw that, right?
I heard that he claimed it. I don't know. And then he disappeared.
It is 100% confirmed. And he's actually, he's in jail. He got arrested for that. So he basically created, like, I think they said 12 designer babies that were born. They picked the eye color. So the dude literally created embryos with the exact eye color that the parents picked. But the one that he's most well known for is creating resiliency to HIV. So he basically created an embryo. The HIV cannot take a hold. So the kid literally can never get HIV. Even if you injected infected blood into him, they would not be able to get HIV, and he got in trouble for that. How fucking stupid is that? The dude literally solved like AIDS. And I mean, for the next generation, obviously.
It's
like
weird.
He got busted for it.
I have mixed feelings about it, because there's always the question of like, oh, where do you draw the line, right? Because man, we could cure or prevent like some very serious things, but that then that brings with it like moral questions, right? Like you about Down syndrome very early on in a pregnancy. Like, they can test for that. They know, like, at like abortion timing sort of things. Like, I've heard of stories of doctors like saying, oh, sorry, we were doing some testing or whatever, your kid's got Down syndrome, like, you want an abortion? And like that's shitty, because like those are people, right? But like, if you were like, in the same way that you get artificial insemination, IFV stuff, if at the same time you're like, yo man, make sure my kid doesn't get myopia, and my mom, I have like a history of myocarditis in my family, like, can we make sure that doesn't happen? Like, isn't that a good thing? Like, should that not be an option of like, man, I don't want my kid to end up with pericarditis with this enlarged heart, or like
Well, the problem is you don't know until an embryo is formed, and people think that like when an embryo is formed, then that's a life and you're killing it. But it's like, nah, it's not.
But before that, even like if me and my lady go to a doctor and we say, hey man, scrub out, I know I have these problems in, a risk for heart disease or whatever, scrub that out. Like put it together so that we have the best baby we can. Like, is that, I don't know, man. I don't know. The problem
is you're going to have millionaires that are going to be like, well, my great aunt Julie had muscular dystrophy. So can you add like 500% more muscle to my baby just in case he gets it? So he'll be able to fight it off.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then like you got, like, you look at Michael Phelps, right? The most gold medals ever. And the dude is a genetic aberration.
Yeah. Any baby that comes out of that kid is going to be like,
dude's got massive feet. Dude's lungs, like he is.
The dude not smokes just weed training. Every day and still breathes better than every person on the planet.
Yeah, it's not just training.
Yeah.
But he is a physical specimen down to the core of his being, built for what he ended up training for. Like he's the perfect specimen for what he does in a sense. And so like it does then bring in like a moral quandary, like Gattaca does, of like, well, what happens when we start screening? Like you're not going to get a job because you're like a natural born human, and compare when I could hire somebody who's been designed to be the best typist ever.
I think I can solve the problem. I think, and I mean, honestly, Eugenics, it's simpler than you think. No, eugenics is okay. Eugenics, if the end justifies the means, eugenics is okay. It's where it gets abused that it's a problem. If you just put a rule, let's say that's just a simple rule that says the only things that you're allowed to modify in the human genome, and barring loopholes that you'd have to figure out and stuff, the only thing you're allowed to modify in the genome is to correct something that is a known defect that will lead to harming the child. Nothing more.
Sure.
So like, for instance, cleft palate. If you're born with a cleft palate, they do a surgery and they correct it. If you can go in and eugenically, stop that, and prevent that from forming, then do it.
Where it's like a after effect. Like, okay, you're pregnant, we test your kid, and like we can do a CRISPR thing to fix whatever. Yeah,
I think that's where you have to draw the line, is basically just say, if it is recognized by society as a genetic defect, meaning that it would place that child sufficiently behind everybody else and their challenges in life, and you had an ability to correct it, I don't see why you couldn't. Like, if somebody's going to be born and you're like, oh, well, they have a gene thing where their brain can't send a signal down to their lower half, and they're going to be born paraplegic and be like that for the rest of their life, and there's no way we can fix it. All we have to do is tweak these two genes, and they still have the same mental capacity, everything. You just basically made them to have physical capabilities that we would consider normal in society. Like, is that a bad thing? Some people might argue that it is, because the challenges that kid might face might define who he is in the future, and he may do something great. But at the same time, it's like, if you could ask yourself, me personally, like as a child, that I didn't want my parents to chop my dick off, but they did. Right? It's like there's lots of shit that we do to our children and babies and stuff that they don't have any decision in. Mm-hmm. But if you're making the decision to make them healthier and to ensure that their life is a little bit easier, I don't see the problem. Where I see the problem is where it gets to designer babies, where you're like, I would like to have a blonde hair, blue eye, 6'2" Aryan nationalist baby that has a built-in resistance to mustard gas. It's like, just, come on. Okay, now you're just trying to build a super soldier or whatever. But, and that's unfortunately why this guy got jailed. The Chinese guy who did the eugenics to basically modify, what was it? He used CRISPR, no surprise there. Yeah. But he modified the CCR5 gene to create a resistance to HIV. But now they're saying, after looking over his work, he only modified one of the two genes that every child has. So they still believe that the child would be susceptible to HIV. Not as susceptible, but still susceptible through the other gene that isn't modified. Yeah. But you could modify the other parent's gene also. He just didn't. But his problem was, he was literally like, he wasn't just stopping at making the babies resistant to HIV. Yeah. He was like, what color eyes would you want? What color hair do you want? So he was getting a little out there.
There's some stuff like Ultonian here says furries are going to be the ones driving cheap and affordable genetic engineering. They want those fox ears, and they're educated and affluent enough to get them.
It'll be like Kank Girl with the kangaroo people.
Right. Like there's something to be said about that. Like, man, if I could, if I could take a drug or something, which like a CRISPR virus, you could design a thing to then make myself glow, like inject fucking jellyfish genes and I'll glow in the dark. Like, they make cats that do that. Yeah. Like, some of it is like, oh, that's fun and interesting. Like, it'd be really interesting to see if if you could have scales, right? Like, oh, suddenly now I look like a pangolin because that's basically hair. It's just grown different, right?
Yeah.
Or fingernails. It's just grown different. And so like, man, now I'm suddenly have like armor kind of, it's a weird because Digital Sparky then has the other side of the coin of like knowing humans. When we can misuse something, we will. Like, look at everything.
Like, there's no like peanut butter. I'm sure has been used to like kill somebody. It's like
and because like you will have these like black market gene places that will do weird shit.
Yeah.
It's on the one hand, I'm like, man.
It'd have to be heavily regulated.
Because what the thing is, it's like, man, the way that the thing is, like, okay, so guy got arrested for whatever it is he did. If not for what some of the horrendous shit that the Nazis did, we would not have made as many medical advancements as we did in the 50s.
Yeah.
Like
it's not something to be proud
shitty.
of, but
it sucks. Yeah. It sucks. But there are sometimes the best advancements in science and technology and as a society has been done by evil people.
Like, why do we have nuclear power? It's because they wanted to fucking build a bomb. like that's where the money came from.
Yeah, the original idea
energy.
was like, hey, all this energy, like, yeah, we can have a free energy.
Yeah, no, build a bomb, blow shit up. Like, here's all the money you need to build the things to make the power. But first, let's blow some shit up.
It's like, yeah, and it's
sad. But
because yes, it would be both really cool, but also really shitty. And it's and that goes for any of this stuff though. Like once prosthetics start getting to be easier, like once we're pumping out 3D printed bits and pieces, or like we can have a good way of installing a thermal camera in my eyeball or something, like people are going to do that, and it's going to be weird and it's going to be shitty, and it's also going to be like fancy. And look at Deus Ex or Cyberpunk. Yeah, like those sorts of things. Like it's science fiction now, but like hyperspace or half the shit that was in the science fiction in the 50s is real today because of fiction, because somebody said, oh man, that sounds just possible enough that we could do it, and they tried and they tried and they tried, and man, we couldn't use most Nazi data because it didn't follow useful protocols for integrity of the information. Yeah, but that informed enough.
Yeah, it doesn't
so that
have
they were
to
able
be
to make
perfect.
leaps.
Yeah,
like and like who's to say that they didn't? Somebody was continuing that experiments and stuff in a more strict and rigorous way and just didn't talk about it or didn't get caught. Like,
yeah, the sad truth is the entire space race wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for World War II.
Yeah, and
like
see,
the
that's
entire
trouble
space
too,
race
right?
is predicated on these scientists building rockets with the purpose of destroying each other that led to the possibility of even getting into space.
The guy who invented the V2 said, "Hey, no, my rocket worked great. It just landed on the wrong planet."
Yeah,
like he wanted to go to space. He didn't want to make weapons. Same with the atomic bomb guys. But
nobody gave him the resources. Nobody would have given him the resources if it wasn't for the war. That's what I'm saying. Is this guy wanted to build rockets? He thought that he could successfully build it, but nobody would have given him billions of dollars to try to figure it out.
Until they stuck a bomb on it.
Yeah, until a bomb shows up and starts blowing up your troops, you're like, that guy's pretty good at building fucking rockets. Maybe we should give him billions of dollars to get us into space.
And where is it? Yeah, I mean, Jack's in chat mentioned the Manhattan Project and stuff. They didn't mean it. And I guarantee the people who came up with CRISPR didn't intend, like, they knew, of course, you always think through the implications of these sorts of things, but they had good intentions, and they know that this thing could be used to do some weird stuff, and now it's like a big battle and stuff. Like, people are like, oh, can we do it? Should we do it? It's really weird.
I think the big scary thing about like just eugenics in general is it's like every other technology that we develop, like even the Large Hadron Collider, there was like a 1% chance that it was going to set the atmosphere on fire, right?
Micro wormholes and shit.
Right. There's always like the math tells us weird shit can't happen and there's probabilities, right? So, but like when you start messing with human genetics, without having like full 100% knowledge, but you're never going to get that knowledge, like you said, without trying things. So it is a balancing act, because if you fuck with a human and you change their genetics and now now they create a super virus that they're immune to, that their natural genome creates as a defense, and then they end up infecting everybody else and killing everybody else around you. You have no choice but to basically kill them and incinerate them.
Yeah.
So, because you can't cure everybody else. Like,
what would you prefer, genetic manipulation or medical nanobots?
Nanobots. Nanobots, damn it. Because you can program them on the fly to do anything and undo anything that they just did without having to like wait for an entire round of like genetic multiplication.
Yeah.
Although they could also kill you a lot faster.
I'd be a little there's the whole like gray goo apocalypse concept to consider when it comes to nanobots, especially if they're self-replicating.
Wait, you said nerdgasm, so you are saying fix the disability and not offering carriers or offing carriers? Yeah, no. Okay,
yeah.
So here's the option we use today, right? And this is done today. If you go do in vitro, they create as many fetuses as possible, or embryos, not fetuses, embryos as possible. And then they go through and they test the embryos for the genetics. And then whichever one is the most viable that they think is going to be the most healthy baby that meets whatever their parents want, because parents can already select sex if they want. They grab that embryo and they flush the rest, right? So you are rejecting the embryos. What if you just had the one embryo and you just fixed all the fucking problems with it so you didn't have to throw 10 other embryos away? Mm-hmm. Like, honestly, from that point, I would prefer that. Like, and again, I'm not sitting here. I'm definitely not like, I'm not like anti-abortion at all. I'm like, a woman's body, women's rights. I definitely have that in me, but I'm also like, I'm not, late-term abortions are stupid. Like, no, like,
yes, I agree.
like as soon as there's cognition there and the brain is actually functioning and storing and creating memory, no, you can't, that's a human at that point. So, but when you're talking about an embryo, that's just a blastocyst of a couple of cells. I mean, it's like you have billions and billions of blastocysts of cells inside of your body that die every single freaking day. You probably shouldn't assign that level of life to it until it's achieved that level of life. But that's my own opinion. Other people disagree, and that's fine. But I would prefer, like, given the options, if you could fix the embryo, like if the embryo had genetic issues and you could fix those issues and have that one embryo, I think that that's a more efficient way than just creating a bunch of embryos, trying to hope that you get one that's viable and then flushing the rest away. I think that it's much more efficient. It's much less wasteful of resources because you're having to create all these embryos and grow these embryos to a point where you can test them and then run individual testing on each embryo. It's like, it would just be way easier to just be like, oh, you're preggers. Let's take a genetic test of the embryo. Okay, the genetic test says that your baby's going to have, bad scoliosis and this thing and your bone spurs and all that. And okay, fix, done. And then the embryo continues, the blastocyst continues to divide and grow through cell division. And boom, you got yourself, a baby that's healthy at the end. I think that that's like an admirable goal. Do I think people will stop there? No, of course not. The people that are like slipping the doctor, $1 million to like give their kid, every advantage possible in the book. Like, oh, you can change one gene and increase their brain tissue mass by like 40% and make them like Albert Einstein. Shit, go for it. It's like, that's where shit starts getting a little weird.
Yeah.
And to say that won't happen is just wrong. Like, even with all the regulation in the world, you can't regulate the entire world. You can't regulate, just because it isn't legal here doesn't mean they're going to do it in some country. And then if they start doing it in another country and everybody in that country comes out and basically becomes a fucking genius by 4 years old because of their increase in brain matter and fast muscle tissue response and everything like that, then what are our options? Yeah. Like we have to do it now too. It's like that's how it works, right? That's why we all have nukes now. It's not because we decided to be pacifists and be like, oh, we just won't build any nukes and that'll solve the problem. It's like, no, you have to be able to match whatever the other person is doing. Otherwise they steamroll you. So again, it's a race to the bottom. That's what I'm saying. So, and you're not going to let the genie gets out of the bottle no matter what, whether we want it or not. Yeah. The technology of CRISPR exists. It's being exploited in the pharmaceutical industry, not just in the United States, but everywhere else around the world. And if you think for a second that there isn't some country that's already operating well outside the ethical barriers of anything in the United States and is already experimenting with human cloning and shit, like, you're naive.
Oh,
it's definitely happening.
Of course there is. Of course. Yeah. Like, come on.
Honestly, it's probably happening here. We just don't know about it.
Yeah. Somebody in some place that isn't going to care much is definitely doing it. Cause like all the tools are freely available. Yeah. And legitimately, like, you can, if you got the money, they're just going to sell you the fucking twisty bits and fancy machinery and shit, so why not? Like, they're not going to look that close to what you're doing with it, really. Yeah.
Illuminate said, would it really be that bad if the world was full of hundreds of Einsteins? Just because the person has the cognitive capability of Einstein doesn't mean that they're not going to use it for evil.
Yeah.
Just because you're smart doesn't that they're not mutually exclusive. You can be evil as shit and intelligent. I mean, we see those people every single day. So, Jeff Bezos, like, and Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. I mean, it's like these aren't people that, had altruism and, people's best interests in mind when they did their things. So yeah, there's no guarantee that they're all going to end up being, Albert Einsteins. But even if they all were Albert Einsteins, would that be better that you have all these people competing to create nuclear power, and nuclear power gets rushed along like so much faster, and maybe one Einstein wants to be smarter than the other Einstein and they push it a little bit too far? You got to rein them back. Like, I'm just saying, like, there's always alternative things that you have to, like, think of. Yeah. Because just because everything's good, it's like saying, like, if everybody on Earth suddenly tomorrow gave up organized religion, which is the foundation of, like, every war, every conflict, every evil thing that's ever happened in humanity has some tie to organized religion. If we got rid of it, would it solve all our problems? Would we all just be happy little atheists running around cookies? Fuck no, we'd all be, like, stabbing each other and stealing each other's shit and be like, one life to live, woo! Like, I mean, it doesn't solve the problem. At the end of the day, humans want more than they have. And the closer that humans get to not having enough to survive comfortably, the more that they're willing to expand their definition, or I should say shrink their definition of what is moral. Mm-hmm. So, and that's always going to be a problem no matter what. That's why it's always beneficial for a society, like at its core, it's always beneficial to make sure that the lowest quality of life is still a comfortable quality of life. Because as soon as people drop below that bar, that's when crime spikes through the roof. Because when people become desperate, they become dangerous. It doesn't matter who you are. I'm not saying any specific group of people. I'm just saying even myself. Yeah. If I didn't have a house and I couldn't feed my kid and he's like, Daddy, I'm hungry, I'd go fucking raid the neighbor's house with a knife. Like, if I had to feed him. It's like, would I do that right now? No, because there's food in the fridge. It's like, people are only bad usually because they're forced into a position or something bad happened. It could be even something like as innocuous as like addiction, right? All of those things can lead you to do really bad things. And people don't want to be bad. They just want to have a better quality of life. And the worse quality of life they have, the more they want a better quality of life and are willing to do unspeakable things to get it. So just keep that in mind. So it's like, next time you're thinking like, oh, screw those people. If they can't work, they don't deserve nothing, and let them die on the streets and everything. Just remember that's the group of people that's going to be breaking into your car and like holding you hostage at the ATM because they got to eat too and they got to survive too. Because like if it comes down to them, just they're probably not going to just sit on the sidewalk and be like, you know what, I'm just going to sit here and die because that's what society wants me to do. No, they're going to get more and more dangerous as time goes on. So it's like you have to take care of your society. So that's why I think that it's important that we have basics like good education, good healthcare. We got to eradicate a homeless situation. Like, I'm not saying like throw out capitalism either. I'm one of those people where it's like I'm floating in the middle. There is a happy balance to be struck here where people can still follow their dreams and get more for doing more and stuff like that. But you can do all that without screwing over everybody else and creating this dangerous segment that's literally just fight or flight all the time. That's my opinion. Hey, Gimpy, thank you for the $5. He said Dick Cheney had a battery-powered heart, you mentioned, for years. Oh, really? I didn't know that. He said, my guess is human and animal organs have standards and refuse to help him. Didn't Cheney shoot somebody in the face when hunting? Wasn't he the guy that shot somebody in the face when hunting? Yeah. Oh, my God, dude. No, he'll never live that down. It's the greatest meme ever. Hey, Nigel, thank you for the 10 pounds. Good evening, gentlemen. Glad to see you back. Hope you are feeling a little better, Jerry. I am today. I'm still a little run down and fatigued, but I feel a lot better today than I have. I mean, the last 2 weeks have been absolutely brutal. If you've been watching, like I almost went back and like deleted all my tweets and everything, but I'm like, nope, it's part of my life. I'm going to let it ride.
That's smart.
Yep. Theodorus, thank you for
the good and the bad.
What's that?
The good and the bad.
The good and the bad, man. You can't. That's one thing that I've always been a champion of. If you've known me throughout my entire career, I've always been a champion of showing people the real side, like not just the good side, the real side, because I think way too many people idolize their heroes online and idolize people that like, I want to be like them. They're so famous and everything. They don't realize they're fucking completely broken people. They're manufacturing what you see for the purpose of getting your views because they need that. like you're not seeing the true person. Like there's a lot more. Yeah.
A lot, so much. And as a generalism, social media is the highlight reels.
It is. Exactly. Right? Yep.
So
that's at best. Let's see here. Theodorus, thank you for the $2 super chat. Let's see. Eric, thank you for the $5. He said, well, here's a little more support to make up the YouTube being dumb. Well, thank you. We appreciate that support, man. We really do. Yeah, you guys, your super chats right now, and I mean, that's what keeps us going. So we really do appreciate all that support, man. Every little bit helps. It certainly does. But we also understand that right now it's like, man, times are tough. Like with COVID and so many people out of work and the supply causing cost of shit to go up and everything. Like we understand it's like, you know, it's hard to be in a business where you rely on people's disposable income when they have less of it. Yeah. Especially when there's more people in this space doing this to support than there's ever been. Like, you know, there's more creators than ever. So it's an interesting thing to, you know, survive through. But again, it's another thing that we'll talk about too, is like if you're ever a content creator, never live paycheck to paycheck, because like you're first down, you're gone. Like you can't.
Man. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing.
It is.
Like diversify. And that's a bit in a general sense. Like you shouldn't have just one income stream, right? So you shouldn't, in my opinion, like it's, unless you're enormous, like getting locked into just Twitch is silly. Because like, what if they ban you? Now you're fucked. Well, I suppose if they ban you, that kind of scrubs your contract. But like, it's just, that's why you need merch and affiliate and a website of your own. Like, yeah, man. Yeah.
I need to correct some gaslighting in the chat from Lewis here. He said, it's funny to me that he wouldn't go and try to find his nearest food pantry. He would kill his neighbors. No, it's pretty much implied in that situation that I can't feed my child. Hence, there is no food pantry. That's my whole point. If
I had assumed this was a sort of apocalyptic scenario.
Oh, if it's an apocalyptic scenario, then there's definitely no food pantry.
Not just that you were like down and out.
I'm not saying like my kid's hungry and I'm too lazy to go to the food pantry, so I'm gonna go blow my neighbor's heads off and steal their last can of beans.
I had assumed that you were providing a situation where that was the
correct. This is the only option left, is to go take food from somebody else. That was implied. Yeah, yes. I'm definitely not going to go, like, I'm not going to sit there and my son's like, I'm hungry, Dad. And I'm like, well, food pantry's downtown. You know, Dad's a little low on gas in the car, and I sure as hell ain't walking. Here, let me go get my gun. I'll just kill the neighbor and steal their beans. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm saying if there's no other options, and that's what I mean, is if you don't have a house, and you don't have cover your head, and there's no place to go. Like, the whole implied thing that there's a place for every homeless person to go and live a high quality life and have food is bullshit. Like that does not exist. like, yeah, go look at how many like homeless people there are in LA. You're not going to just like open up like 2 fucking stadiums or whatever and pile them in there and give them tents and food and everything. If you did, you'd solve the homeless problem. You're not going to solve the homeless problem that way. But anyways, my point without getting too far off is, yes, I promise you guys, I'm not going to go and murder my neighbors and steal their last can of beans if I can literally walk down the street and like steal a can of beans off the shelf at the store or go to a pantry or something. Every other option will be exhausted before I go around and go all machete to try to get food for my kid. But I'm just saying, if push comes to shove and society has left me in the point where the only way that my kid eats is through stealing and harming other people, I am not going to sit there and let my kid die.
Yeah.
Like that's just that's human nature. Like I'm not going to sit there and watch my kid suffer. But you know, that's why you have a society that doesn't allow for that. And then you don't have a bunch of people running around to have to kill each other and steal all their shit. Stellan, thank you for the 5 euros. He said, hey guys, thanks for the great entertainment. Regularly watching the show. Sometimes the VODs. Awesome, man. Aww, he said, and having a good time. Greetings from Austria. I'll be back. Isn't that where Arnold Schwarzenegger's from? Isn't he from Austria?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought so. I was pretty sure that I was right on that one. Devlin, thank you for the 19 euros, my friend. He said, just because I can. You know what? That's the best way. That's the best way to get support, is just because you can. You know, it's like it's not forced. It's not because, you know, I came and stole your beans. I still can't believe that. It's like, dude, come on, man. You couldn't really think that I was like saying, oh, I'm not going to go to the food pantry. I'm just kill my neighbors. No, actually, the first thing you want to do.
Honestly, like whatever.
I mean, the truth is, in that situation, what you really want to do is, if you watch The Walking Dead, you don't want to go it alone. What I'd want to do is form an alliance with my neighbors so that we could go to the neighbors down the street that none of us know and then steal all their shit. So that's the proper way to apocalyptically, you know, survive.
Yeah,
going it alone. I mean,
you got that cul-de-sac, man. Y'all could just like come together and like. Yeah, I think you'd be all right.
We could. It's defensible, right? Like just, you know, put up a nice big, you know, plywood wall with perimeter, you know, lasers and shit, break beams and stuff around the perimeter. And, you know, if somebody breaks the perimeter, everybody's got like, you know, fucking 10 million rounds of ammunition because America. I mean, yeah, it's better to have your neighbors on your side, because I guarantee you here, man, if you go it alone, you're not going to last long. You're gonna, first house you come across and try to rob, you're gonna have like, you know, two or three adults armed to the teeth, kids armed to the teeth. The cat's probably gonna have like a howitzer on its back. Like, it's just, yeah, just don't probably not safe to like rob anybody, especially in states where people are armed. Barnacules, when is OnlyFans coming? It's not, unfortunately. Miss Barnacules has forbidden me to do the OnlyFans thing. I was seriously considering doing the feet pictures for all the people out there that have that crazy fetish, because I really don't care if people look at my feet and get all excited about it. But Miss Barnacules was like, nope, no husband of mine. Those are my feet. So I'm like, all right, hey, good times. But if we're ever starving, I bet you she'll change her mind. If we're ever starving, but hopefully we never get to that point. So the moral line is to know the person. I mean, to some degree. I mean, the people you know, you're less likely to kill. So,
yeah, I guess so.
Right? I mean, the conversations we have. This is Tech Talk. Welcome to Tech Talk, where we talk about survival tips.
Morality is so weird.
It is. Morality just gets in the way of everything. Just look at every single billionaire on the planet. Like, do any of them have any morals? Like, I don't really know. I don't think so. I think morality just gets in the way of profit, It's like, oh, I got to keep that person hired. Oh, that's going to hurt the bottom line. Let's just fire him. And if it makes the stock price go up, because I can just sell a couple stocks and then go hire a cheaper guy. Yeah, no, ethics doesn't really play well with big business. It really doesn't. Like the companies that are more ethically ultimately fail. I mean, shit, look at Steve Jobs. I mean, he ran his employees into the fucking floor 24/7. There's so many bad stories of that dude, like literally physically abusing people and shit, like because he wanted to do things that Microsoft wouldn't, and it paid off. For the company. But that's not good, because if every time you do a bad thing it gets rewarded, then you're going to keep doing a bad thing. If every time you rob a bank it costs you less to get out of the robbery than it does that you took from the robbery, you're going to keep robbing banks. So that's just human nature. It doesn't take, you don't have to be a mathematician to figure that shit out. So what about, let's talk about this 22-year-old that builds chips in his parents' basement. What's this? You sent me this one.
Yeah, man. This is cool.
What is garage this about? Here, I'll link it in chat for everybody. This was an interesting one when I just saw the title when you sent it to me pre-show.
Yeah.
So Sam Zeloff combines 1970s era machines with homemade designs as creations show what's possible for small-scale silicon tinkerers.
Yeah, so that's as much as I know about this as you.
All right, so it says Intel revealed new details about its plan to build a mega fab on U.S. soil, a $100 billion factory where 10,000 workers will make a new generation of powerful processors studded with billions of transistors. The same month, 22-year-old Sam Zeloff announced that his own semiconductor milestone, it was to achieve it was achieved alone with his family in New Jersey garage, about 30 miles from where first transistors were made at Bell Labs in 1947. With a collection of salvaged and homemade equipment. Oh, wow, that's kind of cool that he's using the old original equipment to do this. Zeloff produced a chip with 1,200 transistors. He had sliced up wafers of silicon, patterned with a microscopic design using ultraviolet light. Wow, so he was actually doing ultraviolet lithography in his freaking basement? Or garage? That's awesome. Okay, Andy dunked them in acid by hand.
On YouTube.
Yeah, this is all on YouTube.
Cool. I'll post his YouTube.
I mean, the chip is small too. 1,200 transistors on that tiny little chip for something that he made by hand.
Yeah,
that's impressive, because I've seen people that do the old school transistor computers on YouTube, but they're huge. The fact that this is a legit microprocessor this dude built in his garage.
That's neat.
So his second chip has 200 times as many transistors as his first, a growth rate outpacing Moore's law. Well, I mean, everybody else kind of like helped him with that, though, like creating the technology and machinery. So it doesn't really work that way. The rule of thumb coined by an Intel co-founder says that the number of transistors on a chip doubles roughly every 2 years. Zeloff now hopes to match the scale of Intel's breakthrough 4004 chip in 1971, the first commercially available microprocessor, which had 2,300 transistors and was used in calculators and other business machines. In December, he started work on an interim circuit design that can perform this simple addition. Yeah, his basement. This is cool, man. He's got like all the test equipment and stuff, and he's got the lithography machine there. I mean, this is kind of cool. So, I mean, is his goal, like, is he going to be selling these? Like, is he going to, or is it just a hobby?
I think it's just a hobby. He's just playing around. Like, I was kind of skimming ahead here, and he's like, he wants to make chip making more accessible, to people who don't have like fat budgets and stuff.
Okay.
Inspired by YouTube videos from an inventor and entrepreneur, Jerry Ellsworth, in which she made her own thumb-sized transistors. So,
I mean,
that's pretty cool.
Did you scroll down and look at the picture at the bottom of his lab?
Wow.
Like, dude.
It looks like a 70s science lab. That's funny.
It does. That's like Dexter's laboratory. The dude is like, his entire garage is filled with like machinery and piping coming down from the ceiling with like copper lines, and it looks like he has tons of oscilloscopes and like a big production lithography machine. That's crazy.
He says he's got a broken, or he says one of Zalouf's best finds was a broken electron microscope that originally cost $250K in the 90s. He bought it for $1,000 and fixed it. He uses it to inspect the chips for flaws as well as the nanostructures of butterfly wings.
Yeah.
How freaking cool.
Yeah, it's called the JSM 6300 electron viper scope. And it's huge. Look at the picture. It's like the whole bottom, like right quadrant of the picture is that machine.
Get out. So
that's
check
that
this
electron microscope. That's crazy.
So for the photolithography, right, this is how you do micro scale etching of like basically all the little wires and shit that's in your motherboards, right?
Yeah.
So they're really, really expensive, up to 150 million. He says, so Zalouf made his own by bolting a modified conference room projector bought on Amazon onto a microscope. It projects its designs at tiny scale onto silicon wafers that Zalouf coats in material sensitive to ultraviolet light.
That's crazy. So he's basically doing like microscopic etching using a microscope to downsize and magnify the projector. Yeah, I mean that's what they do. I mean, ultra lithography, the reason that they can make the transistor so small is because you're getting so small that the wavelength of light defines how wide the path is that you're etching. So like, that's why you get down like 5 nanometers. It's like that's the smallest etching that you can do because of the wavelength of the physical light. So it's not a matter of a beam of light. It's like the wavelength of the actual light. You're down to the point where that defines what you can do. So, and he's basically just taking a projector that's projecting an image of his chip, like a large image of his chip, and then shrinking it down, like through the microscope and directing it. Like what's crazy is that he can actually get it to focus well enough that it's imprinting that on the silicon without shit shorting out and touching. And I mean, it's pretty wild, man.
Wow, man.
This guy is doing some crazy shit now, as far as making chip making more accessible, I mean, the dude basically crered a foundry in his fucking garage. Yeah. Like, I don't see the average person doing this, man.
It's super old school. But
I'd like to know how much of this equipment he's actually using in his process, because like if that's what you need to make a 1200 transistor chip from the early 70s, like I don't see a lot of people doing this.
Nah,
this is definitely a niche.
That's super cool.
Wild, man. Yeah, I cannot believe how much machinery he has in this small space. This is wild. This is just a trip. But hey, power to him, man. Like, yeah, I mean, this is
neat. Super rad. Super rad. I'll dig it.
That'd be funny. That'd be funny though if like some company like approached him that wanted to bring back like an old computer, like a TI 99.4A or a Commodore 64 or something. They're like, hey, can you get down to 5 million nanometers or whatever? And it's like, yeah, sure. And he starts manufacturing chips using the same process. Because you wouldn't, where would you find a foundry that can do that? You wouldn't. If you wanted a chip not just to emulate the old slow ass chip, but you wanted the old slow ass chip, this guy could actually manufacture it for you. I mean, it's super low volume,
right?
But I could see like people that are like retro, really into the retro scene, like laying down the money for something like this.
Huh.
I mean, shit, I bet your Metal Jesus would. I don't know. It'd be cool. You could literally build like a brand new, like a really rare computer that maybe there was only a one-off of in the 70s, as long as you could get a hold of one of them to look at the chip under a microscope and actually look at the die, you could replicate it. And this dude could produce those chips. But then again, actually, you know what? If you think about it, it's like, China, probably their manufacturing chain is able to create, shit that's, that big. Because, I mean, it looks microscopic, but it's not, right? I mean, 1200 transistors isn't shit when you're talking about modern chips having literally billions.
Yeah, he's saying, where did it say in here? The first chip, which only had 6 transistors, he says use transistors that Zalouf calls straight out of the 70s, with features as small as 175 microns, which is about as wide as your hair. The next one, I think, was better, but probably still the same size. Because it says that he went up to a grid of 12 circuits, each with 100 transistors. So 1,200 transistors in all. And he's working on a Z3, it looks like a cluster of more. And he's like, this chip will actually be capable of adding 1 + 1 as a step to a full microprocessor.
Yeah, it looks like this guy has actually been doing this for a while. He even his dorm room, like he had an X-ray machine in his dorm room, and they were like, "Nah, you gotta get that out of here, bro. Like you can't have that here."
I love that kind of stuff.
No, this is pretty. Shit, we should have started with this topic. This is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it.
So, robotics gear and 3D printers are easily bought, and hacker-friendly hardware like an Arduino microcontroller and Raspberry Pi are well established, but the chips are still being made at factories somewhere. So yeah, his goal is to like make the bigger stuff. Cheaper, like to make that more accessible.
Yeah, it says recently upgraded his photolithography machine to print details as small as about 3 microns, roughly on par with the commercial chip industry in the mid 90s. He's like thinking about functions he could build into a chip on the scale of Intel's heroic 4004. I want to push garage silicon further and open people's minds to the possibility that we can do some of this stuff at home. That's neat.
This is really cool stuff.
Yeah, dude, Intel or IBM's going to snatch this kid up. He's going to be an engineer.
Yeah, I guarantee. If nothing else, they don't want the public like following in his footsteps and like trying to because all it takes is like one dude to figure out that like Casio projector Model 3 with its laser beam or whatever, and this specific microscope can basically build chips the same as the $6 trillion foundry or whatever.
Well, imagine, yeah, like it sounds to me that the equipment to get to a certain level, at least, like we're talking mid 90s, that's like 100 megahertz, right? That's not much. We weren't even thinking gigahertz yet. This is 486 status.
Yeah, 486, 100, like, 120 tops.
If I could at home have like a basically like a glow forge and pump out a chip, a 486 chip. Think of what you could do. Think of what people have done with old ass tech like that. But like, if I could make a brand new, like whatever 486 DX100 chip, like how cool would that be? Like, I don't know what I would do with it, but like
just for your projects, like stuff where you use like a Raspberry Pi Uno or something like that. It's like just make your own, roll your own, right? You don't rely on a foundry or availability. Yeah,
because like, okay, so maybe I can only do like one a week or something, or potentially as a commercial application, you could only pump out a few at a time. Like imagine Etsy, some dude on Etsy making custom chips for you. They're not real powerful. You're not going to get a fucking 700K or whatever, but like maybe you could get a cool dual core or something or other that is built off of some reverse engineered Intel chip or something. Like that'd be kind of neat.
I'd buy one of these just to have it like in a little glass box on my desk blinking an LED or something, just to be like, look, that's the old stock. That's like a new version of what was around before I was born. Like that's cool.
That's what he used the first chip for was he says he put the chip to work in a circuit board that flashes a single LED and a guitar distortion pedal.
That's hilarious.
Was the Z1.
So not only did he create the chip, he actually has a use case for it. That's cool.
Yeah, it's neat. I don't know. This is cool. This sort of neat.
I just think it's neat to see somebody. It's like when you hear about the guys that use CRISPR, like in their garage and shit, to like genetically modify rats and stuff like that. You're like, right? I mean, it's still cool because it's like, dude, that's stuff that like is sci-fi, like or NASA. Like we used to think NASA's the only one that builds rockets. Now you got SpaceX like exceeding NASA. You have people that are like launching rockets almost to orbit, like hobby teams that are launching rockets almost to orbit now. Like there was that one 10-foot tall rocket or whatever, that little skinny one that they made that literally goes up like 120,000. Or no, it was 120 miles or something like that. It goes up. It's like ridiculously high. It's basically in orbit, but they can't achieve the arc to get into orbit. But its hang time is like forever. And I'm like, dude, like those are just hobbyists building that shit that are like now touching space.
I just want to point out that this is a really good example of a guy who is super passionate about something. This is his thing, right? This is his nerdy shit that he loves to death. And I don't know, it doesn't look like he's monetized. I mean, the YouTube channel might be monetized. I don't know, just by looking if I can tell.
I get a feeling this guy didn't do this for monetization. This is like his passion.
No, his last video posted was 5 months ago. Got he got a little over 661,000 views.
Well, that's pretty good.
And honestly, he's probably blowing up elsewhere, like on Twitter or something, or his blog is probably like fucking huge. But like, this is a good example of something that like he was just putting stuff out there just because he was having a good time. And now he's kind of blowing up. Like this is what I mean. He's got a Patreon, hard. But like all he did was just put it out there. I like this stuff. I'm doing this thing and it's cool. And I'm just going to put that out there and talk about it. And now here we are talking about it. Like it's super cool. And that could be you. It could be you, you know?
Yeah, and it doesn't. The thing is, it doesn't even have to be something this complex. It's like this is just a demonstration of a niche, right? I mean, it's a complicated niche, but
it could be, you know, whatever, anything that you like to talk about, and it doesn't even have to be something you're good at. It could be just something you're super into.
Actually, one of the channels I used to watch, I haven't watched it in forever, and I bet you it's still around. Was a channel called like The World's Worst Professional Gamer. And it was a guy who basically just live streamed him never getting a kill in Call of Duty. He'd just run around and scream as he got shot and killed and never get a shot off. And that was like all of his videos. He'd just play a game, be like, oh, today we're going to play GTA 5. And he'd like run in there and the car would like hit him and he'd fall on the ground, die. And then the police would arrest him. He's like, what do I do now? And then he gets out and he walks out in the parking lot and shoots a lady. And then she kicks him to death. And then like the cop comes out and arrests him again. And the commentary is why I watched it, because he's like, I don't get it. Like, what's the controls? How do you make a move? You know, he's just acting like an old man that like doesn't know how to play the game. But it was like world's perfect. But he'd always say down the bottom, he'd be like, and I placed dead last in the leaderboard for this game or whatever, and he'd show like in the game where he's at the very, very bottom of the leaderboard of like every game that he played.
Nice.
God, I can't remember the name. This was years and years ago that I watched this channel. It was really cool though.
Hey, for 10 pounds, tactical porn smurf.
I love that name. Thank you for the 10 pounds, dude. Mucho appreciative.
There's one dude who comes into my Twitch chat when I do my drive streams and stuff sometimes, and it's like, DJ Stank Daddy. Love that guy.
That's a good name. Like that's actually a catchy name.
DJ Stank Daddy, like 2002 or something like that. And I'm like every time I'm like, yes.
No, I go out of my way on my Twitch stream to read the weirdest names. Like when I see a name that just really, and it sticks too. Like if you can remember it more than 10 seconds, that they chose wisely.
I love it. That's hilarious. There's another one that's a little more uncouth, I suppose, but it's good too. Let me see if I can look at my follows and stuff. Maybe he subbed or something recently, but it's like it's the real Saul Goodman followed me last October. That's cool. Thanks, Saul.
Better call Saul.
Maybe he's only talked. I don't see.
Luminate said I got to make a macro for one key press to set up a stream. You can.
Oh, dude, yeah. If you got into like PowerShell or something, yeah, you could totally just push a button and it all just pop up.
Honestly, you could just go get auto hotkey and a Stream Deck, and you're done.
My head was just, you don't even need a Stream Deck.
That's true. The Stream Deck's redundant. Yeah,
you could drop 30, 40 bucks on one of those like external 10 keys that are like, it's like a custom keyboard that's just got 24
there's one on Amazon that's $10. It's awesome.
And you just it shows up as a keyboard, and then you can just customize the key presses. Yeah.
Or if you have a keyboard that just has the function keys like mine just has like little function keys on the side.
It's a human interface device because it doesn't. Do you need a lawyer? Not that I'm aware of. Why? Did I just do something that I need a lawyer for?
He might be offering his services.
Oh. Well, if I ever need,
immediately is like, oh my god, what do we do? Oh my god,
man, I'm kind of a space cadet, so I could have.
Oh, me too. Like, yeah, if you need a lawyer, be like, exactly. I loved your response. Do I need one? Like, do you know something I don't?
Yeah, who's asking?
Yeah, no, Matt. Automation is my jam. I wish one of my biggest regrets in life is that I spent 15 years being like rock star developer at Microsoft, working on best in class automation. I have tons of awards for it. I just walked away from it because the YouTube thing blew up, and I was like, that's what I was doing. Microsoft kicked me to the curb. I was like, I'm gonna go do something else. Yeah. But the truth is, like, automation is like one of the coolest things. Like, just to see how optimized you can make stuff. Yeah. And there's just something really, really satisfying about it. Like, just like and some of it's like really simple. Like, do you guys remember a couple of years ago? Actually, it was more than a couple of years ago. Do you remember when I made the bot to play Forza Horizon? When I think it was Forza Horizon 2. No, not Horizon, sorry. Forza Motorsport 2 or Forza Motorsport 3 when it came out. I used auto hotkey, plugged into my Xbox through basically the controller. It was faking the controller.
Yeah.
And I plugged in there, and in an auto hotkey, all I did was like controller forward, turn left, hold on the gas, go reverse, then hold on the gas, go reverse, hold on the gas. So my car would basically I'd select a track, I'd select a certain car that had this perk that gave me a bunch of bonus points the longer I played, and I'd just take off, turn into the wall, smash into the wall, back up, smash into the wall, back up, smash into the wall. And every time I smashed into the wall, it gave me like a bonus. There was a weird bonus associated with it. And so I just had it do this. It would do it like 50 times, and then it would end, and then it would go through the menu or whatever, collect all the points or whatever, go create the map again, grab a car, go do it again. And it just did that 24/7. And I just left it running in the background in my bedroom whenever I wasn't playing the game. And at one point I got in there, I had like $200 or $300 million in the game. I could buy anything in the game, even the most like exotic car that you got to play forever to get. I could afford anything in the game. I had an inexhaustible supply of money, and I never got banned because the way that I was doing the automation, it was so kludgy through auto hotkey, and it had random timers in it that it basically just looked like somebody over and over again was like trying to race the car, and some kid was just slamming it into the wall. And so they never caught on to it. It was just cool to do that because you're like, it's such a simple automation. It was so simple. It took me like 30 minutes to like work out some bugs in it where like different menu options would come up in an auto hotkey. I'd have to say, okay, this may come up or it may not come up. So I have to create a sequence that works in both cases because again, it's blind, right? It's blind automation. It's not taking any input from the game. But I got that thing so reliable that it just ran 24/7. And sometimes I just turn on the TV and I just watch this car race down the track, smash into the wall and see how many points it'd get. And I just sit there on my phone and just watch the script. It was just really satisfying. And that was the simplest automation that I ever wrote that was like super satisfying and gave me a ton of points. But I used to automate the shit out of games. I automated EVE Online. And EVE Online, I automated mining, like intelligent mining, where it was screen scraping and reading the screen. I wrote that completely from scratch in C#. Didn't use any libraries or anything. And the thing was, the reason I did it is because somebody said, oh, you can't automate EVE Online because they put in all these things that prevent you from automating. I was like, fucking challenge accepted. And I got away with it for 6 months. And the only reason I got banned is because I had a piece of code in there that if a mod came into the system or somebody flew into the system that was Band of Brothers, I would gracefully log out. And so they couldn't talk to me. And my script crashed at just the wrong moment when I was in an asteroid belt. And so my ship was just hanging out there. The script was supposed to restart and reset. It didn't. And a mod came and talked to me. And I was just sitting there hovering, doing nothing for like an hour. And then I got banned. Because they went back and looked at all they'd been doing is mining nonstop and the same two systems for like the last like couple of months. And so they banned me, and I did eventually get that account back, but they took all the money away.
Yeah. I did something similar in Earth and Beyond.
Yeah.
But it was just key commands and a mouse. Like you'd hit a button or like a key combination, and it would start to record your inputs, and then you could just loop it forever. And that's what I did.
Or
me and a buddy of mine both.
Did you ever mod World of Warcraft? I did that too.
Oh, nice.
I created automation in World of Warcraft that all it did was you just walked into an area that had a lot of the wolves. Like, you know, just for farm, because I had to do the farming thing forever and ever and ever to get the XP. So I just wrote a script that all it would do is just hang out in the woods. If something came by that was of a low enough level, because I was basically memory pulling the program, if something came by that was at a low enough level that I knew for a fact I could defeat it, even if like 3 of them dogpiled me, then I would engage it. I'd walk towards it, attack it, walk towards it, attack it, walk towards it, attack it. And only if it got a certain distance from me would I disengage and target something else. And I actually had intelligent automation that I'd just turn it off. I'd come back the next day and I'd have just an insane amount of XP because my guy would just be running around the woods hunting these things. And it was even intelligent enough that if your XP got too low, like let's say an elite came into the area or something and started hitting you, you could actually turn and flee. And it would even use the power-ups to like heal itself and flee from battle until it disengaged. Then it would fully heal and then it would walk back to the location and start again. And I love that automation. It worked really freaking well, but I never did anything with it other than run it myself. And I gave it to a friend who also used it. The reason I did it was because my other friend did it for Asheron's Call, Microsoft's MMO back in the day.
Man.
And
Asheron's Call,
Asheron's Call, man. So I was like, I'm going to do to Asheron's Call what he did for WoW. And so, I want to do for WoW what he did to Asheron's Call. And I was like, and I loved automating shit. It was like my jam, dude. Like one of my coolest automations I ever did at Microsoft was CD burning. Yeah. So the Burn Lab at Microsoft, I don't know if they still use it today because now they have dedicated machines that do it. But early in my career at Microsoft, back in the 2000s, I wrote a program in C++ for the Burn Lab that would literally take a little robotic arm thing that they had. It would come over, the CD drive would open. It had 4 CD drives in a tower, regular CD burners. It would open it up. It would pick up a piece of media, drop it in the drive, close the drive, burn the CD, verify checksum, pop it out, grab the CD, and if it passed checksum, it'd put it on a spool that it's ready to go. Or if it didn't, it'd take it over and drop it into a garbage can that would go to recycling. And so I wrote that, and for years we used that in the building 26 main computer lab to burn media, so that we didn't have to go down to the proper build lab and like, because you'd have to wait for them to burn the media. We could just do it ourselves. We just ordered in our inventory these big 100 spool CDRs, and we just load them into the machine, and the little drive, little robotic arm come down. It was like this like little 2-axis robotic arm that just rotated like this, and then it had like a servo that just came down like this, and that was it. And it just gripped the CD, and I'd move it over and put it on the right spindle. And it'd fail every once in a while. Like, you had to kind of keep your eye on it, because, you know, if it failed or the CD didn't go onto the spindle right, then it would just start piling CDs up all over the floor. But it was cool because you could just like run it every day, and it would make you a stack of media in the morning, and then by the time it was afternoon and it was ready to install the machines, you had, you know, freaking 100 burned CDs there. And people thought that was the coolest shit ever, because the burn lab machines that did the, you know, that did the bulk burning of the CDs and the duplication, those machines were so expensive that there's no way we could have afforded to buy one for the main lab. Right. So the fact that we're able just to take one of our test machine towers and just stuff it with a bunch of cheap DVD or CDRs and stick a little robot on it that we got. I can't even remember where we got the robot. I think because it was purposed for something else, and it wasn't being used anymore. So we pulled it out of the locker and programmed that shit, and it worked great. Like, I mean, we used that thing for probably 5 or 6 years. And then the burn lab finally started making media a lot faster. So it basically became deprecated. We didn't use it anymore, but I thought that was the coolest shit ever. I thought that was like one of the coolest things that I did like at Microsoft early on in my career. Was because of my job when I got hired full time was to automate the lab processes, the common lab processes. So when I saw that this person was literally sitting there for hours monotonously surfing the web and putting, every time a drawer opened, he's put a CD in, close it, and, you know, having to do that, I was like, dude, we can automate that shit. And yeah, that was pretty fun. That was pretty fun. Did I call it Bernie? No, I didn't. That would have been a great name for it. No, we did all kinds of cool shit. All right, dude. Well, it's 1 p.m. Yep. It's that time again to wrap it up. All right. I want to thank all of our super chatters, and I want to thank all of our new channel followers here. Lewis, thank you for that $1. By the way, John Simon, thank you for becoming a member. Miss Liz, a member for 23 months and counting. We love Miss Liz. She's amazing. If you guys want to see us between Tech Talks, you can find us over on the Twitch doing our thing, or over on Twitter. All of our information is down in the video description. Before you leave today, we would love it if you'd push that notification bell and click all notifications, because unfortunately our viewership is dwindling because notifications are not going out. I know this for a fact because I get tons and tons of messages on Twitter, even right now while we're streaming. I didn't know you guys were streaming. I didn't get notification. You didn't show up in my sub box. This is actually really common for us, and I think it's because I'm not making videos, I'm not making shorts, and YouTube just isn't promoting 3-hour live streams anymore. So, and if you don't click that notification button, just less and less people are going to be notified when we go live, and that sucks. So help us out. As for the rest of you guys, thank you so much for just watching and hanging out. It really means the world to us.
Spread the word.
Spread the word, and hopefully Mr. David Hewlett will be back next month. He's off doing his actor thing, you know, building up that IMDb credit and getting that Skrilla. But when he's done, he's going to come back because he misses us, and he told us so. So, so all right. On that note, let's go ahead and give him a little wavy wave, and we'll catch you guys over on the Twitters and the Twitches and the Instagrams and all that other stuff. I mean, we're pretty much